the school beauty's personal bodyguard. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176, Caught. Hey, what are you doing? Song Lingshan saw Lin Yi nearing the edge of the cliff, showing no sign of stopping. She suddenly grew anxious. If you can't find it, then don't let it get to you. Don't let it get to you. It was no wonder Song Lingshan thought so. There was no way out beyond the cliff. If Lin Yi kept going this way, he'd fall. How was that any different from suicide? Seeing her so angry and furious earlier, wouldn't Lin Yi be afraid of not being able to find her, so she'd settle the score with him and end it all? Although Song Lingshan felt Lin Yi shouldn't be that kind of person, considering his fearless demeanor, how could he be afraid of her? But the facts were before her, and Song Lingshan had to be on guard. Lin Yi didn't answer. He reached the edge, and just as he was about to fall, he suddenly stopped and stood there. Huh? Song Lingshan breathed a sigh of relief and quickly ran to Lin Yi's side. What are you doing? Trying to scare people? Lin Yi didn't answer. Instead, he closed his eyes and stood there quietly. Hey, Song Lingshan raised her eyebrows. Are you angry? A grown man, you wouldn't be so stingy, would you? They're right down there. Lin Yi opened his eyes and tapped the ground at the edge of the cliff with his foot. Song Lingshan was dizzy. Be gentle, don't fall down and die. What do you mean by right down there? Song Lingshan was stunned. She didn't quite understand what Lin Yi was talking about. The robbers, they're right down here, Lin Yi said. Song Lingshan's face darkened. You mean to tell me that the robbers are down there, right? They've fallen to death, not dead. Lin Yi shook his head. The jade pendant wouldn't react to a dead person. Not dead. Song Lingshan was stunned. She originally thought that Lin Yi couldn't find anyone, so he made up a random excuse to perfunctorily tell her that the robbers had jumped off the cliff and died, but she didn't expect Lin Yi to say they weren't dead. It's right under my feet, not under the cliff. Lin Yi stamped his foot again and explained, there's a difference. There should be a cave beneath this cliff. Cave? Song Lingshan was bewildered. Why did she find it so incredible? There was a cave on this cliff? I suspect there is, Lin Yi said. You can find someone to take a look. Lin Yi could easily have climbed down the cliff with his bare hands, but he didn't. It wasn't his job. His mission was complete. He was merely helping Song Lingshan find someone. He didn't want to reveal too much about himself. Rock climbing with bare hands was usually reserved for special forces, and climbing such an unexplored cliff face wouldn't be easy even for trained individuals. If Lin Yi had managed it so easily, Song Lingshan, a member of the special forces, would naturally be suspicious. Are you sure? Song Lingshan found it a bit unbelievable. Today's event seemed like a fairy tale. Lin Yi casually walked around the mountain, then finally convinced himself that there was a cave on the cliff, and the robbers were inside. No one would believe this, as it was simply too unbelievable. Are you sure? Lin Yi nodded. At least the jade pendant had never failed to make a mistake. Here, he could strongly sense the message it was transmitting to him. It seemed that even if these people had done something bad to him in the past, it would still be recorded by the jade pendant, regardless of the strength of their resentment. Then wait for me. I'll go down and take a look. Song Lingshan glanced down at the cliff face, then clapped her hands, wanting to go down. Ultimately, she still didn't believe the robbers were down there. I advise you not to, Lin Yi said, not because he looked down on Song Lingshan, but because she felt it was difficult to deal with 4 or 5 robbers alone. They have guns, okay, then I'll trust you this time. Song Lingshan gave up the idea of going down herself after hearing Lin Yi's words. Although she was angry with Lin Yi, she wouldn't use such a serious matter to do so. What if the robbers were really down there? You should have trusted me. If you didn't, why did you ask me out? Lin Yi understood Song Lingshan's suspicion. He had miraculously found the enemy's lair for the first time, and Yang Huaijin and the others were equally amazed. I'll contact the helicopter now and have them bring someone over, Song Lingshan said, pulling out her phone, ready to give the order. They'd used helicopters before, but this was a mountainous area, so they couldn't fly too low. They just circled the air and given up after finding nothing. At the time, they hadn't considered flying a helicopter into the cliff valley to take a closer look. Since Lin Yi had offered it so confidently, Song Lingshan had no choice but to trust him, as if she trusted Captain Yang. Can I leave? Lin Yi saw Song Lingshan preparing to contact the helicopter to capture the robbers, and he felt there was no point in staying here. No, Song Lingshan flatly refused. Let's talk about it after we catch them. I have to get back to class, Lin Yi said. I'll take you home, Song Lingshan refused. Alright, Lin Yi sat on the ground, looking up at Song Lingshan, from bottom to top. So majestic, so spectacular. Song Lingshan was initially confused by Lin Yi's words, thinking he was referring to the mountains and the scenery. But as she followed his gaze, which finally landed on her, she immediately understood what he was talking about. Her face flushed, and she wanted to kick Lin Yi off the cliff. Where are you looking? Some part of your body is too prominent, blocking my view of the blue sky, Lin Yi said innocently. If you look again, I'll dig your eyes out and step on them like bubbles. Song Lingshan turned aside, not giving Lin Yi another chance to look. You're threatening me. I'm calling the police. Lin Yi didn't take him seriously, still lying on the ground. I'm a police officer, tell me what you have to say. Song Lingshan glared at Lin Yi. Then it's okay, Lin Yi said. Song Lingshan was so angry that she could only stare blankly. Soon, a helicopter flew over, and Song Lingshan's phone rang. Song Lingshan answered the call, told the other party her location, and then asked them to search at the foot of the cliff. Song Lingshan didn't have much hope at first, but soon, her people called to report that they had captured the people, every one of them, except for the previously deceased Baldi and Malaolu. Song Lingshan was really speechless at this moment. What was going on? Did they really capture the people? Did Lin Yi not just guess and make up a location to deceive her? Now it seemed that this was definitely not the case. But how did this guy find and confirm it? I had been following him around the whole time, and he found it, but how come I didn't notice it at all? Can anyone tell me what is going on? Chapter 177. The credit is yours. Amidst the praise from her subordinates, Song Lingshan felt a slight blush. Looking at Lin Yi, who lay on the ground as if nothing had happened, Song Lingshan felt a mixture of emotions. After a few perfunctory words, telling them to take the suspect back to the station and that she would return shortly, Song Lingshan hung up the phone. She knew she definitely won credit for this accomplishment, and she could already imagine the chief's smile as he looked at her. But at that moment, Song Lingshan wasn't happy at all. The reason was simple: Lin Yi had actually found the robbers, and Song Lingshan was a bit unsure what to do. Hello, Song Lingshan hung up the phone. After a moment's wait, when Lin Yi didn't respond, she turned around, leaned over, and looked at him. We found the robbers. How did you do that? Weren't you following me the whole time? Lin Yi half opened his eyes, looking at the half-bent Song Lingshan. He was truly impressive. I did follow you the whole time, but you were just wandering around like that. I have no idea how you found those robbers, Song Lingshan thought to herself. Besides, what makes you so sure that the robber must be at the bottom of the cliff? Observation. Lin Yi naturally wouldn't mention the jade pendant. Careful observation and bold reasoning. I walked around the mountain without any clue before, but I wasn't really clueless. Oh, Song Lingshan now believed Lin Yi's words. He seemed to be wandering around without any clue, but in fact he was not really clueless, because after all, Lin Yi found the robber. I just did what the robbers might do, Lin Yi said. When the robbers came up the mountain, they must have wandered around like I did just now. Because they haven't learned reconnaissance and counter-reconnaissance, they can't have carefully searched the mountains for hiding places. They're not professionals. So, I thought about it from the robbers' perspective. If I were them, what would I do? So I wandered around the mountain for a while, unable to find a hiding place. Finally, I set my sights on the place that others would most easily overlook and least likely to suspect. If I were the robbers, I would take a risk and send people to explore the cliff face to see if there were any caves below. If there were, they could hide in there and it would be difficult to be discovered. With enough food, they can basically survive safely for a while. Once the storm has passed and the inspections are not strict, they can wait for an opportunity to escape. Is that so? Song Lingshan listened to Lin Yi's theory, which was actually a bunch of nonsense, and she thought it made some sense. It also explained why he had been wandering around the mountain before. What else can I do? Lin Yi shrugged. Did you see what high-tech equipment I brought? No, not really. Song Lingshan nodded, believing Lin Yi's words. But your speculation is quite bold. It's not bold. Since the robbers are not as professional as you, and they couldn't find them after such a large-scale search by professionals like you, then you think the robbers are more professional than you? Lin Yi asked back. So if not, then they took a risk and hid in a relatively dangerous place. Anyway, thank you this time. Although Song Lingshan thought Lin Yi's search method was too simple, almost like a joke, she couldn't say anything since he had found them. You're welcome. I was invited by Mr. Chu. These people are against Miss Chu. It's only natural for me to cooperate with you to find them, so don't thank me. Lin Yi spoke the truth this time. No wonder Captain Yang recommended you to me, Song Lingshan said. But who did you learn these methods from? Hell, it's just that we think differently. Lin Yi didn't directly answer Song Lingshan's question. You're looking at it from a police perspective, and I'm looking at it from an ordinary person's perspective. Then how long do you want to see me? Song Lingshan suddenly changed the subject. Should I keep lying down like this for you? Do I need to open my collar, too? Ahem. Lin Yi coughed dryly. Song Lingshan had noticed where he was looking, and he felt a little embarrassed for having spoken so seriously before. I was looking at the sky, then you look. I'm leaving. Song Lingshan stood up and turned to leave. No more looking. Let's go. Lin Yi jumped up and dusted himself off. The cordon at the foot of the mountain had been removed, but the two officers on duty hadn't left yet, waiting for Song Lingshan to come down by her car. Captain Song, you're really awesome. You just walked up the mountain and found the lair of those guys. It was obvious that the two policemen had received the news that the robbers had been arrested. Song Lingshan's face flushed. How could this be her credit? It was clearly Lin Yi who found it. She glanced at Lin Yi from the corner of her eye, but saw that he seemed to have not heard anything and walked towards the car, ready to get in. Song Lingshan breathed a sigh of relief and said to the two policemen, you guys should leave too. I have something to do and will be back to the police station later. Okay, Captain Song. The two policemen obeyed the order and got into their own car. Song Lingshan opened the car door and got in with Lin Yi. They quickly started the car and drove away. She felt very embarrassed by what the two people had said just now. Remember, this credit is yours and has nothing to do with me, Lin Yi suddenly spoke. Huh? Song Lingshan was slightly stunned and looked at Lin Yi in surprise. What did he mean? Drive carefully and watch the road, Lin Yi reminded Song Lingshan. This matter only needs to be known to you. Don't tell anyone else. I'm busy right now and don't have time for anything else. The police are offering a reward of 200,000 yuan in cash for anyone who can lead to information about the robbers. You don't want it? Song Lingshan was puzzled by Lin Yi's evasion. I do, but I don't want the hassle, Lin Yi said. Do you really think these people are the kidnappers? Are they alone? Are you saying you're afraid the people behind you will retaliate against you? Song Lingshan began to understand Lin Yi's intentions. Revenge? Not really. I know who's behind them, Lin Yi shrugged nonchalantly. I ruined their plans, so they're naturally aware of my presence. But the hassle I'm talking about isn't just that. I don't want to get involved in what's going on. I'm only employed by Chu Pengzhan, understand? Just say you don't want to meddle in other people's business. If you don't want to help in the future, just say so. Why are you spouting so much nonsense? Song Lingshan was furious. It turned out that Lin Yi had said all this just to save her from trouble in the future. That's good to know, Lin Yi said. Unless it's something important, I will help you for Jen's sake. Chapter 178 Unjustly Died. Still 5 updates, please vote for the monthly ticket. Song Lingshan curled her lips. Don't think that you are great just because you got lucky and analyzed the psychology of the robbers and caught them. This kind of unorthodox method is not worthy of being on the table. It may succeed if used occasionally, but it is not the right way after all. Of course, Song Lingshan didn't know that Lin Yi was just talking nonsense. It was impossible for Lin Yi to use such a stupid method to find the robbers. If he only had such a little ability, Yang Huaijin would not recommend him, and he would not come to join in the fun. But Song Lingshan was confused by the situation. She was just annoyed by Lin Yi's lewd eyes, so she thought he was a lot more shameless. Don't worry, I won't bother you unless it's a big deal, Master Lin. Song Lingshan curled her lips. He was just a bodyguard, not a real master, and he was so arrogant. Did he think he was really capable? Oh, that's good, Lin Yi nodded bluntly, agreeing happily. Do you know Li Chihua? Li Chihua? Song Lingshan's eyes narrowed, as if she had thought of something. You mean you suspect Li Chihua is behind these robbers? Not suspicion, but true, Lin Yi said. Exactly? How did you know? Song Lingshan was a little surprised. Is it Mr. Chu? No, it's Li Chihua himself. Lin Yi hadn't hidden this from Song Lingshan. If she could investigate Li Chihu and send him directly to prison, it would save him a lot of trouble. Li Chihu himself? He told you that? Song Lingshan looked at Lin Yi strangely. This was a bit unbelievable. Do you have evidence? Yesterday, he tried to win me over to his camp, Lin Yi said. He is just a spokesperson for a party with vested interests. That's all I know, but I refused. As for evidence, of course I don't have it. Words are not enough. He is very arrogant and not afraid that this matter will implicate him. Turns out it was him. Song Lingshan tightened her grip on the steering wheel. I have been investigating him before, but there was a lot of resistance. The person behind him is very powerful. Not to mention me, even Captain Yang can't stand it. Song Lingshan seemed very angry when she said this, but it was no wonder. This was the first case she took over after entering the police station professionally. It involved Li Chihu and the person behind Li Chihu, but the case was left unresolved, as if there was an invisible big hand obstructing it. The pressure from all sides forced Song Lingshan to give up. This had become a thorn in Song Lingshan's heart. While she knew that removing Li Chihu would require more than passion, Li Chihu was a cunning man, his dealings shrouded in shady dealings. Catching any evidence against him was nearly impossible. Without evidence, Song Lingshan had no chance of doing anything. Who's behind him? Lin Yi asked. Lin Yi never cared about a person's power or connections, he simply ignored them. When he had rescued Xiaoning from the general's mansion in that small African country, Lin Yi had kicked the general's son in the balls, yet Song Lingshan still didn't dare to say a word. He had an army and weapons, but they were completely useless against Lin Yi. If Lin Yi had been able to enter the general's mansion unmolested once, he would surely come a second time. He could have grievances against Lin Yi, or seek revenge. But next time, it wouldn't be his son's balls that would be blasted, but his head. Lin Yi had wiped out countless ruthless individuals, including drug lords, gambling kings, and underworld tycoons. The man behind Li Chihu is nothing compared to them. Lin Yi could make him vanish from the face of the earth without a trace. He's from the provincial capital. Even if I told you, you wouldn't know him, Song Lingshan mumbled, clearly reluctant to discuss the matter. Oh, Lin Yi noticed Song Lingshan's agitation and gave her a long look, as if she was deeply concerned about the matter. You'd better stay out of this matter, Song Lingshan said, a rare gesture of concern. Captain Yang and I can't touch this person right now, and neither can the director. If you get involved, you'll risk your life. Just be your loyal follower. He doesn't mess with me, so I naturally won't bother with him. Lin Yi smiled. Song Lingshan rolled her eyes at Lin Yi, dismissing his words as bragging. After parking the car in front of the number 1 high school, Song Lingshan unlocked the car door. I've remembered what happened today. I owe you a favor and will treat you to dinner another day, okay? Lin Yi nodded and agreed without even thinking. Song Lingshan was speechless. Although she wanted to treat Lin Yi from the bottom of her heart, you can't be so shameless to accept it, right? You have to refuse it at least. Lin Yi didn't care what Song Lingshan thought. He got out of the car and walked towards the school. Inside the Jelly Fuyan bar, Li Shihu had already smashed 4 or 5 bottles of red wine from the 1980s. The floor was covered with red juice, like blood, which was very scary. Xuanyuan stood aside, with his head lowered, and handed over the 1982 Lafite that the waiter had just brought. Brother Chihu, give me. Fuck. Li Shihu took the red wine and smashed the LCD TV in front of him with a glass rod. Suddenly, a crack appeared on the LCD TV and the red wine splashed everywhere. While the 1982 Lafite was undoubtedly valuable, it depended on what it was compared to. Compared to 2 yellow rank masters, this red wine was nothing. Those were 2 yellow rank masters, one at the early stage of the yellow rank, the other already at the peak. In the provincial capital, they would have been powerful figures, yet they died in a car accident? This was difficult for Li Shihu to accept. If they had truly been beaten to death, Li Shihu would have accepted it. After all, they were inferior in strength, and if they were beaten to death, they couldn't blame anyone else. However, these 2 men's deaths were unjust. Li Shihu already had the on-site investigation results in hand. Even unsure, he sent several experts to investigate. The conclusion was still simple: the left front tire had blown out. The car suddenly veered off course, driven too fast, lost control, and crashed into the ditch. As for how the left front tire blew out, it was unknown, as the tire had been reduced to ash. Currently, the only clue was the tire tracks on the road. Although Li Shihu suspected Lin Yi of tampering, he had no evidence. Furthermore, he didn't believe Lin Yi could do anything with a speeding vehicle. However, Li Shihu still held this account against Lin Yi. If they hadn't been chasing him, would these two yellow rank masters have died in a car accident? Li Shihu's heart was bleeding. Without these two yellow rank masters by his side, many things had become difficult to handle. The only thing he could do now was to call the person behind him and apologize. Chapter 179, Little Soldier. Although he knew he'd likely be blasted by that person, Li Shihu had to make the call. If he didn't, and that person got the news first, his tenure as spokesperson would likely be over. Li Shihu was a man of his own business. While he might appear to be a powerful figure in Songshan City, commanding the wind and rain with a single stomp of his foot, that was only on the surface. With just a word from that person, a new Wang Shihu or grandson Shihu would take his place. So, despite his outwardly domineering presence, Li Shihu remained cautious and treading lightly in front of the person behind the scenes. "Boss," Li Shihu called the person behind the scenes. "Hurry up and tell me what you want." "I'm in a meeting," the call was answered, and the person behind the scenes' voice echoed, somewhat impatiently. Everyone else treated Li Shihu with respect, but this person, alone, didn't take him seriously. "Boss, Li Yao and Zhang Long were in a car accident," Li Shihu said cautiously. "Send them to the hospital if they get into an accident. With their physical condition, minor injuries are nothing." "What are you talking to me about? Is there anything else?" the boss behind the scenes said impatiently. "Boss, it's not a minor injury," Li Shihu said with a bitter face. "Boss, they had a flat tire on the national highway, and the car rushed directly into the ravine. Serious injuries." The boss behind the scenes voice became lower, and it seemed that he began to take the matter seriously. "Dead," Li Shihu said. "What? Dead?" The boss behind the scenes voice was obviously shocked. "Wait a minute, I'll talk to you outside the meeting room." "Okay," Li Shihu agreed quickly. After a while, the voice of the master behind the scenes came again on the other end of the line. "What happened? Died in a car accident?" "Two yellow rank masters, boss. Here's what happened," Li Shihu said, not wanting to hide anything. He told her about his meeting with Lin Yi yesterday and how, after Lin Yi refused to cooperate, he sent Li Yao and Zhang Long to kill him. Lin Yi, the master behind the scenes, repeated his name. "Did he do this, boss?" "I'm not sure, but from the looks of it, he should be a master of the same level as Li Yao," Li Shihu said. "Same level as Li Yao, meaning early yellow rank?" "Are you sure?" the master behind the scenes asked. "Almost certain," Li Shihu said. "Okay, I understand," the master behind the scenes said calmly. "I have a meeting to attend, but don't think I'm letting you off the hook. Just behave yourself for a while. Also, Zhang Elbing will be visiting you for a few days." Okay, is that you, young Master Bing?" "That's great, boss. Don't worry, I'll treat you well," Li Shihu quickly assured him. This soldier's name was Zhao Kaibing, the illegitimate son of the boss behind the scenes. Of course, this was a secret known only to Li Shihu. Zhao Kaibing's apparent identity was that of a rising young entrepreneur in the province, but without the backing of the boss behind the scenes, his rise to prominence would have been impossible. After hanging up the phone, Li Shihu breathed a sigh of relief. From the boss's tone, it seemed he had no intention of replacing her, and the level of scrutiny he'd pursued was far lower than she'd imagined. However, the boss's decision to send his illegitimate son to her side suggested a certain level of discontent with her. Sending Zhao Kaibing here was partly a way of keeping tabs on her. Li Shihu knew Zhao Kaibing's character well. He was a classic playboy, perhaps repressed by his illegitimate status, now showing even more arrogance and extravagance than the boss's youngest son. Therefore, this was a golden opportunity. All she had to do was play to his will and make Zhao Kaibing comfortable and content with her, and everything would be resolved. Thinking of this, Li Shihu's mood improved again. When Lin Yi returned to school, it was the 4th class after the break. "Boss, you are too awesome, aren't you? You miss classes every day." Kang Xiaobo turned around and whispered. "It's still about the police station." "It's not over yet," Lin Yi said. "Oh, so that's the case." Kang Xiaobo heard that it was still about the police station, so he didn't ask any more questions. "Are you free on the weekend?" Lin Yi suddenly remembered that Tang Yun had said before that they were going to her house for a barbecue, so he asked. "Weekend?" "Yes, what's the matter, boss?" Kang Xiaobo had nothing to do, and when he heard that Lin Yi had plans for the weekend, He suddenly became excited. Tang Yun's mother invites you and me to her house for a barbecue on the weekend. Do you want to go? Lin Yi asked. Tang Yun's mom? No way. Boss, you've made great progress. Kang Xiaobo's eyes widened, staring at Lin Yi in disbelief. You're here so soon, can you stop overthinking it? Lin Yi smiled bitterly. I just gave her a recipe. She might have successfully tested it, so she invited us over to eat as a token of her gratitude. Are you going or not? Of course, Kang Xiaobo nodded hurriedly. Then let's get back in touch this weekend. Lin Yi shook his head, noting that Kang Xiaobo was even more enthusiastic than himself. Guanxin worked her one night shift, 24 hours on, 24 hours off. However, Guanxin wasn't in a good mood. She'd waited a whole day and night for Lin Yi to come change the dressing, but after a day and a night of waiting, Lin Yi still hadn't come. She was half asleep when the shift ended. Finally, Guanxin couldn't resist asking the older woman in the same department if Lin Yi had come to change the dressing in the past few days. The older woman still remembered him. The last time Lin Yi changed the dressing was a few days ago, and he hadn't been since. Guanxin felt a little disappointed. She didn't know why, but she'd been looking forward to seeing Lin Yi. Even when she was resting at home, she looked forward to coming to work. This was something she'd never experienced before. Was it because Lin Yi had blocked the bullet for her? Or was it something else? Guanxin wasn't sure. Regardless, not seeing Lin Yi left her feeling empty. She was worried about his injury. Gunshot wounds aren't easy to heal. Logically, he shouldn't be well. But why hadn't he come to change the dressing? Is he deliberately avoiding me? Girls' minds are always complicated. Guanxin started to worry about gains and losses. When she returned home, she saw her grandfather happily turning the soil in the small yard, apparently planning to plant something. Grandpa, what are you doing? Guanxin walked into the small yard of her villa. Chapter 180 The Worried Little Nurse. Xixing is back. Guanxin put down the work in his hands with a smile. Turn over the soil and plant some Chinese medicinal herbs? Oh? Grandpa, you are in a good mood. Guanxin forced a smile and said that no matter whether she was a little disappointed in her heart, it was rare for her grandfather to be in such a good mood. Guanxin naturally did not want to spoil her grandfather's interest and tried to make herself look more normal. Haha, I met a little miracle doctor yesterday. Many of his ideas cleared up the doubts that I had for most of my life. Guanxin met Lin Yi yesterday, and the good mood he had for chatting with him has not dissipated until now. What an amazing young man. Young man? Miracle doctor. Guanxin was a little surprised. Grandpa was a leading figure in the field of traditional Chinese medicine and was hailed as Guan the miracle doctor by the outside world. In his words, how amazing must someone be to be a miracle doctor? But from what Grandpa said, it seemed that this person was still very young. A young man? Ambition transcends age. Guanxin waved his hand. He and I, though not officially master and disciple, share a time of master and discipleship. Your grandfather, I treat him with the respect of a teacher. As a teacher, Guanxin's eyes widened, staring at Grandpa in disbelief. Grandpa didn't sound like he was still half asleep, talking nonsense. Could there really be someone that powerful? Xixing, this guy is good. One day when you have a day off, cook some of your signature dishes at home and I'll invite him over, Guanxin said with a smile. Xixing, you're not a child anymore. It's time to consider your lifelong affairs, Grandpa. Guanxin shyly twisted her body and lowered her head embarrassedly, but for some reason, the image of Lin Yi flashed through her mind. It's not that Guanxin didn't understand what Grandpa meant. It seemed that Grandpa admired the little doctor so much, and he probably wanted to match her with the little doctor. However, Guanxin didn't like this. First, the two didn't know each other at all, and second, Guanxin blushed when she thought about it. Guanxin naturally didn't understand his granddaughter's thoughts. He thought she was shy, so he didn't say anything. Go back to your room and rest quickly. You didn't sleep well after being on duty at night, did you? Well, Grandpa, I'll go upstairs first. Guanxin nodded, sighed slightly, entered the villa, and walked towards her room. After school that evening, Lin Yi headed to the snack street to pick up his car. After parting ways with Kang Xiaobo, he headed in the direction of the street. He had previously messaged Chen Yushu and Chu Mengyao, telling them he'd driven to school and wouldn't be going with them that evening. Lin Yi had originally planned to ask Tang's mother about the specific weekend times and address at her barbecue stall, but discovered she wasn't operating that day, so he had no choice but to drive away. Returning to the villa complex, Lin Yi didn't go directly to Chu Mengyao's villa. Instead, he went to Chen Yushu's first. He planned to get her computer so it would be easier to look up information later. The layout of Chen Yushu's villa was essentially the same as Chu Mengyao's, even down to the similar decor. It seemed they'd renovated it together. Looking at the small underwear scattered across the living room and sofa, Lin Yi felt a chill run down his spine. But he couldn't stop looking. He didn't want Chen Yushu to think he was a pervert, even though she wasn't around and wouldn't know. Going upstairs, this was the first time Lin Yi saw what the upstairs of the villa looked like. He thought Chu Mengyao's place was similar, with 4 rooms upstairs. Lin Yi, adhering to the attitude of not looking at anything inappropriate, found the study, moved the desktop computer on the table downstairs, then locked the door and left the villa. Lin Yi did not touch other things in the villa. Chen Xiaoyu was not that easy to fool. If he touched anything of hers, wouldn't it be another handle? When Lin Yi returned to the villa, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yusu were sitting in the living room watching TV. It was a rare sight for them to be watching TV. In the past, after returning home, they usually went upstairs. Seeing Lin Yi carrying a computer back, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yusu glanced at him, and then their eyes returned to the TV screen. Lin Yi glanced at the TV screen. It was a celebrity concert. A pretty young woman was prancing around on the stage, though she was wearing a bit too much. Lin Yi thought, if only she had less on. Hey, do you want to watch the concert with us? The big star Su Shihan is there, Chen Yushu asked, her eyes never leaving the screen. Oh, no, you guys can watch it. Lin Yi wasn't very interested in celebrity concerts like this. The entertainment industry was plagued by so much negative news that he felt the young woman on TV was clearly playing it innocent, just trying to fool young girls like Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. Since Lin Yi didn't watch, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu didn't seem particularly unhappy. This was their idol, and whether Lin Yi liked her or not was none of their business. Lin Yi carried his computer back to his room. After plugging it in, he noticed the indicator light on the computer's network card wasn't on. The network cable jack on the wall was working properly. The only possible reason was that the network switch wasn't plugged into the room's main network cable. Lin Yi left the room again. Yo, where's the switch for the internet connection? There's no signal on the network cable port in my room, it's upstairs. Go fix it yourself. Don't bother me watching the concert. Chu Mengyao waved her hands impatiently. Lin Yi's current room had never been occupied before, so it was normal that the network cable wasn't plugged in properly. Me? Upstairs? Lin Yi was stunned. Hadn't he been told not to go upstairs? So he let him go today? Even though the two of them were downstairs, upstairs was still their own little world, right? You're not allowed to go to Xiaoshu and my room. The network data box is in the middle of the stairs. General Mighty, follow him. If he wanders off, bite him. Chu Mengyao was clearly so engrossed in the concert on TV that she didn't even care when Lin Yi went upstairs. However, she wasn't stupid enough to send General Mighty to follow him. But would it work? General Mighty let out a low, plaintive growl and wagged his tail reluctantly at Chu Mengyao's feet. What? You want to see the concert too? Chu Mengyao thought that General Weiwu was watching TV and was reluctant to leave. Slutty dog. Wolf. General Weiwu growled again in frustration and ran towards Lin Yi. However, when he got to Lin Yi, he didn't dare to get too close and followed behind Lin Yi weakly. Lin Yi was excited and nervous at the moment. Although he had been to Chen Yusu's house and went to the second floor before, no one had lived there for a long time after all. Chen Yusu had moved in for a while, and there was nothing to be excited about going to an unpopular boudoir by himself. But it was different now. Thinking of Chu Mengyao and Chen Yusu sleeping upstairs every night, Lin Yi felt a little excited. Chapter 181 The Secret in the Computer. But since Chu Mengyao had clearly stated that the network data box was between the first and second floors, Lin Yi couldn't possibly go upstairs. While General Weiwu couldn't stop him, and wouldn't try to, Lin Yi wasn't the type to engage in voyeurism. Even if he had to go up, he'd do it openly someday. Why would he do it so covertly? Lin Yi quickly ascended the stairs and, as expected, found a hidden data box on the wall between the first and second floors. It was covered in wallpaper, so it was invisible without careful observation. Lin Yi opened the data box. Although he didn't know much about networking, the labels inside were clear. Apparently, The residents of the villa complex were wealthy, and few understood the wiring. The developers had taken this into consideration when building the buildings, clearly labeling the controls for each room. Just follow the instructions. Sure enough, his room didn't have a phone or internet connection on the data box. Lin Yi turned on the internet, but for the phone, forget it, he had a cell phone and didn't need the landline. After completing all this, Lin Yi closed the data box and went downstairs. Mengyao merely glanced at him. Seeing him come down so quickly, and seeing the mighty general acting normal, she figured Lin Yi definitely hadn't gone upstairs. So she ignored him and returned her gaze to the TV, where she and Chen Yashu excitedly followed Su Shihan's movements on screen. Lin Yi, uninterested, returned to his room and began examining Chen Yashu's computer. It was a brand-name machine, with decent specs and a nice aesthetic, though a bit feminine. The case and monitor were both vibrantly colored, and the mouse and keyboard were stylish, too, the kind of thing girls tend to like. But Lin Yi wasn't picky, he'd just make do. He plugged the computer in, turned it on, and quickly booted into the operating system. Chen Yashu's desktop was clean, with almost no installed software. Just a few common ones like QQ, Widget, and a video player, nearly nothing professional. Lin Yi opened the computer's D drive and found two folders, one for videos and the other for photos. Seeing the names of the two folders, Lin Yi suddenly became excited. Could it be Chen Yashu, taking some secret selfie photos at home? Turning around to look at the locked door, Lin Yi opened the video folder with trembling hands. Lin Yi has always had a good impression of Chen Yashu. She is a girl that is easy to like. She seems carefree and foolish, but she is actually very smart. Compared with Chu Mengyao's arrogance, Chen Yashu is more approachable. She is basically the bridge of communication between him and Miss Chu. It is normal for Lin Yi to have a little affection for her unconsciously. Thinking of Chen Yashu's sexy figure, Lin Yi's saliva almost flows. Haha, Chen girl, you didn't expect that I would have something on you, right? Lin Yi took a lustful look at the open video folder and was immediately disappointed. Oh my god, all of them are downloaded MVs or concerts of the big star Su Shihan. Where are the selfie videos? Lin Yi clicked on two of them at random without any interest. They were exactly the same as the program on TV just now. Although the singing girl was pretty, Lin Yi didn't want to waste his precious time on a vague idol. Instead, he'd rather spend his time doing something more practical. Like teasing Tang Yun, flirting with Chen Yashu, bickering with Song Lingshan, or even watching Miss Chu glare at him. It was better than watching videos of this idol, at least she was a real person in front of him. Closing the videos folder, Lin Yi pinned his hopes on the albums folder. However, Lin Yi wasn't holding out much hope this time. After all, he'd been disappointed before. This album folder would likely contain photos of the superstar Su Shihan. Judging by the contents of the previous videos, Lin Yi opened the album folder, but his excitement wasn't as strong as before. However, upon opening it, his eyes widened. Album was divided into two folders, Su Shihan and My Album. Lin Yi's originally disappointed mood became excited again. The Su Shihan folder was automatically filtered out by him. Lin Yi clicked on My Photo Album. There were indeed some scattered picture files in it. Judging from the file names, it was obvious that they were taken with a digital camera or mobile phone. Lin Yi was so excited that he quickly double-clicked the first picture file, anxiously waiting for the computer to respond. It was only a matter of a second. Lin Yi's eyes were fixed on the computer screen. In fact, Lin Yi was also a little lustful like those normal boys. The photo opened. It was not the selfie style that Lin Yi expected, but a normal life photo. Chen Yashu was sitting on the sofa, looking a little lazy and immature, but no less beautiful. Looking at the date on the photo, it was taken 3 years ago. Was Chen Yashu just in the first year of high school at that time? Lin Yi flipped through the album. Besides Chen Yashu's, there were also photos of Chu Mengyao, and some of the two of them together. A few showed them in pajamas, but nothing too revealing. They could be considered private photos, but they were still far from selfies. Even so, Lin Yi enjoyed them all. Living under the same roof with two young beauties, he usually felt embarrassed to look closely at them. Now with the photos, it seemed easier. The date of the photos clearly showed Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu's transformation from somewhat immature young girls to the graceful ladies they are today. These photos, a testament to their growth and friendship, were truly precious. Photos of the two of them hanging out together, featuring trips every winter and summer, dominated the photo gallery. But he wondered who took the photos. Could it be Uncle Fu? Lin Yi thought with a hint of malice, Uncle Fu panting as he followed the two girls around, cameras strapped to his back. It seemed some of Uncle Fu's duties had been transferred to him now. Was he now the young lady's attendant? Thinking of this, Lin Yi stopped laughing. Next time, the person carrying a camera and running around will probably be him, right? Lin Yi felt a chill. He was still here making fun of Uncle Fu. He was really laughing at someone who was inferior to him. Chapter 182, A wake-up call. Lin Yi had nothing else to do for the time being. He opened a web page and casually searched for Li Chihua. The news was mostly positive, with only a few small forums reporting on Li Chihua as a local boss, claiming he was all-powerful and so on. These were completely useless to Lin Yi. He closed the web page and turned to researching Divine Dr. Kang. Since Lin Yi was also planning to make a name for himself in the pharmaceutical industry, he needed to know more about this Divine Dr. Kang. However, Lin Yi hadn't expected this person to be Kang Xiaobo's great-grandfather, a bit of a coincidence. A man can't live without money. Although his old man was very strict with him, Lin Yi never complained. The reward of a few dozen or a few hundred yuan for a single mission wasn't as much as the mission's funding. His master wasn't a stingy person. After every mission, except for the portion the organization had to keep, the rest of the reward should go into the old man's account. But every time the old man gave him a few dozen or even a few hundred, Lin Yi didn't bother to complain. The only possibility was that the old man had embezzled it. But to Lin Yi, the old man was like his own father, having raised him since childhood. So what if he was greedy? Lin Yi could just pretend he didn't know. Anyway, he had enough to eat and wear. But what puzzled Lin Yi was why the old man remained so poor despite taking the money. Was he really a modern-day bandit? He was currently receiving Chu Pengzhan's salary, but without his own source of income, he felt uneasy. Who knew what this mission was all about? Lin Yi still had no idea. He had to have a backup plan. What if he lost his job? Now Lin Yi truly loved his current life. Like any other high school student, he went to and from school every day, with his best friends and a crush on a girl. Judging by the online reviews, Dr. Kang had a good reputation, but the medicine was either too popular or too scarce, making it hard to find, resulting in a shortage. However, this situation only served to prove its miraculous power. Although Lin Yi had never seen what Dr. Kang's golden cure medicine actually looked like, he was confident that his old man's prescription was definitely not much worse than his. If he were to use it, the market would probably be split in two. The next day, Lin Yi had nothing to do, so naturally he wouldn't drive to school by himself. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu came downstairs yawning, obviously having stayed up late watching the concert last night. Lin Yi didn't find the superstar charming at all. Although she seemed prettier than Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu, that was due to makeup and stage effects. If we talk about the essence of her beauty, Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu are no match for the superstar. So Lin Yi felt that instead of watching the superstar, he might as well watch these two girls. Yesterday's live concert was amazing. I wonder when Xiaohan will come to Songshan for a concert. Chen Yashu was fascinated by last night's TV show. Hey, Songshan is not a provincial capital, nor is it a special economic zone. It may be a bit difficult, Chu Mengyao said. We must buy a Blu-ray disc of the concert for our collection. We didn't see enough yesterday. Yes, let's go by it at noon and see if there is any audio-visual store near the school. Chen Yashu nodded. However, there seem to be not many stores selling genuine copies near the school. If you want to buy genuine copies, you can only go to the bookstore. Lin Yi, Chu Mengyao called to Lin Yi who was doing nothing. If you have nothing to do at noon, go buy us a Blu-ray disc of Su Shihong's 2011 concert. The first show was held a month ago, and it must be on sale now. Okay. Lin Yi looked at the two star chasers who were talking to each other and nodded. This was a small matter, just buying a disc, and Lin Yi didn't take it seriously. Sister Yao, you are so smart. Now that Brother Arrow is running errands for us, we don't have to walk so far. Chen Yashu was a little bit complaining. It was a long way to walk to the bookstore, about 1 kilometer, and it was not convenient to trouble Uncle Fu to come over at noon. Seeing Chu Mengyao directly handed the matter to Lin Yi, she was immediately very happy. We didn't pay him to pick up girls, but of course we have to let him do things. Chu Mengyao curled her lips and glared at Lin Yi. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. It didn't seem like it was her business if he picked up girls himself. As long as he didn't steal girls, he would be considered a follower, but he also had to have love. When Uncle Fu's car drove to the shantytown, Lin Yi deliberately looked out the window and saw Tang Yun standing on the platform waiting for the bus safely. Lin Yi breathed a sigh of relief. It seemed that the little hooligan didn't bother Tang Yun today. Zhu Ruiming was very angry. Yes, he was angry to a certain extreme. Lin Yi and Tang Yun were actually together? Zhu Ruiming had naturally heard about Lin Yi's confession to Tang Yun, and her shy acceptance. The campus was so small, and if everyone knew, how could the second of the 4 school bullies not know? Originally, Zhu Ruiming had a plan, to pressure Tang Yun into abdicating through her mother's presence, then create the illusion that Tang Yun was his girlfriend, letting everyone know. Perhaps Tang Yin, forced into a relationship, would agree. However, plans couldn't change quickly. Zhu Ruiming hadn't anticipated the sudden appearance of Lin Yi, a stuntman. Not only did his plans get ruined, but he also received a slap in the face, becoming a laughingstock. This deeply humiliated Zhu Ruiming, and he resented Lin Yi. He planned to have his eldest brother, Zhu Ruoguang, come and teach Lin Yi a lesson. However, due to the recent incident with the Black Panther, Zhu Ruiming didn't dare to do so openly. He could only wait for the right opportunity, or perhaps until the current situation had died down. You know, Black Panther was arrested and reportedly sentenced. Although the matter was suppressed by Zhong Pinliang's father and Zhong Pinliang was not implicated, the fact that Zhong Pinliang's father, Zhong Fabei, was so powerful, couldn't get him out proves just how serious this incident was. In fact, Songshan No. 1 High School is no ordinary high school, but a private institution with a strong background. Zhu Ruiming could imagine that if Zhong Pinliang's uncle wasn't a member of the school's board of directors, anyone else would have been expelled. So Zhu Ruiming could only endure it for the time being. But before he could even get that chance, the rumors that circulated around school yesterday were like a slap in the face, leaving Zhu Ruiming stunned. Tang Yun actually agreed to Lin Yi's confession? Damn, was she kidding? Lin Yi didn't look any better than she did. Just as arrogant, just as frivolous, just as notorious. So why did Tang Yun fall for him? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183 Zhong Pinliang's Trick. Zhu Ruiming was getting a little anxious. Tang Yun was a rare and exquisite girl he had rarely encountered in all his years of wandering around. Such naturally beautiful girls were truly rare. Unlike those who only used makeup and beautiful clothes to dress up, Tang Yun's beauty came from within, a natural beauty. In this huge Songshan No. 1 middle school, there were only 3 people like her. 2 of them he couldn't even touch, because whoever did would die. Zhu Ruiming was no fool. Chu Mengyao father was the chairman of Pengzhan Group, a figure who could shake the world in Songshan with a single stomp of his foot. Only someone with a family background like Zhong Pinliang dared to pursue her, but even Zhong Pinliang didn't dare to force his way into her. And Shen Yushu, that chick, didn't even dare to touch Zhong Pinliang. Wu Xiaoqin's painful lesson was still fresh in his mind. But Tang Yun didn't have much to say. Zhu Ruiming had found out everything about her family background. Both of her parents were laid-off workers. Her father was bedridden due to a work-related injury, while her mother ran a stall in the snack street behind the school. What kind of family can they be if they can't even get compensation for their father's medical expenses? So in Zhu Ruiming's view, it was inevitable that he would take Tang Yun. Even if he took advantage of her, a family like Tang Yun would have no choice but to swallow their anger. That's why Zhu Ruiming was so unscrupulous when he first pursued Tang Yun, and he almost drove her crazy. In Zhu Ruiming's view, if Lin Yi hadn't intervened, Tang Yun would have been his woman. Now, Tang Yun actually accepted Lin Yi's confession. Although the hero saving the beauty was very cliché, it was also very effective. It must be that he played the role of the villain that day and gave Lin Yi the opportunity. Zhu Ruiming felt a little regretful. If he had known this would happen, he might as well have found a few younger brothers to be the villains, and then he could show his skills. Sitting under the basketball hoop, Zhu Ruiming was sulking. His lackeys knew that Zhu Ruiming was in a bad mood, and they stood beside him in silence, not daring to speak. "Brother Ming, what's wrong? You look so depressed," Zhong Pinliang saw from a distance that Zhu Ruiming was sitting under the basketball hoop with a miserable look on his face, his expression changing from anger to regret. Naturally, he guessed why he was like that, so Zhong Pinliang keenly discovered that this was a good opportunity to teach Lin Yi a lesson. "Oh, it's Liangzi." Zhu Ruiming raised his eyelids and took a look. It was Zhong Pinliang, but he didn't feel embarrassed. Zhong Pinliang was not much better than himself. He also suffered a loss at the hands of Lin Yi. All the capable men under his father were sent to the police station. He were just in a situation of the pot calling the kettle black. "Are you here to laugh at me, Brother Ming? What are you talking about? I have always respected Brother Ming." Zhong Pinliang patted a younger brother next to Zhu Ruiming. The younger brother quickly made room for Zhong Pinliang and let Zhong Pinliang sit next to Zhu Ruiming. "Liangzi, I've been slapped in the face this time," Zhu Ruiming sighed and said bitterly. "Everyone in the school knows that I was pursuing Tang Yun, but that bastard Lin Yi got there first. I can't swallow this, Brother Ming." "I think you're too conservative in this matter," Zhong Pinliang said with a look of deep sorrow. "Tang Yun's family background is not enough to make any big waves. There is a saying that goes, the first to strike is the strongest. Brother Ming, if you use a bully to force her, then Tang Yun will be yours now? Even if I want to, I don't dare to force her. You know, Chu Mengyao's family is more powerful than mine." "Hey, Liangzi, you're right. Don't mention how much I regret it now." Zhu Ruiming's face sank. "If I had known this would happen, I would have forced myself on her. I'm a professional at this and have done it before." "That's right," Zhong Pinliang said. "How could I let that bastard Lin Yi get there first? But now, it's too late. I regret it." Zhu Ruiming had been holding it in for a long time, but now, finally, he had found a campus bully who matched his identity. Moreover, the two of them shared the same suffering and had a common enemy, Lin Yi, so Zhu Ruiming naturally complained to him. "Brother Ming, I don't agree with what you said." Zhong Pinliang suddenly changed the subject. "As the saying goes, good things are never too late. It's not too late for you to act now. No matter how fast Lin Yi acts, it's impossible for him to take down Tang Yun in these 2.5 days. If you take Tang Yun down now, you don't have to worry about her not following you." Zhong Pinliang had little education and didn't know if the adjectives he used were correct. Fortunately, Zhu Ruiming was also a fool and didn't understand what good things are never too late meant. He just felt that what Zhong Pinliang said made sense. Slapping his thigh, Zhu Ruiming exclaimed in delight, "Yeah, why didn't I think of that? It's not too late to act now. By the time Tang Yun becomes mine, Lin Yi will be nothing to him." "Liangzi, you've really woken me up." To show off his erudition, Zhu Ruiming crafted a line to go along with Zhong Pinliang's earlier, "Hey, Brother Ming, your love life has a glimmer of hope, but mine still needs work." Zhong Pinliang was overjoyed to see Zhu Ruiming take his advice. Now that Tang Yun had been fucked by Zhu Ruiming, wouldn't that brat Lin Yi be incredibly upset? Ha ha ha. But on the surface, Zhong Pinliang still appeared sad and helpless. "Liangzi, if this works out, I'll thank you profusely." Zhu Ruiming clenched his fist, as if seeing hope. "But when the time comes, I'll ask you for advice, brother. Don't refuse." "Don't worry, no problem," Zhong Pinliang happily agreed. And he was even trying to play dirty tricks on him? "Great, this is my strong point." Zhong Pinliang hummed a little tune as he walked towards the classroom. Zhu Ruiming also solved his worries and happily played basketball with several of his men. Before he reached the classroom door, Zhong Pinliang saw his little brother Zhang Neipao running towards him frantically. Seeing him, it was like seeing a savior. "Paozi, what are you doing? Running so fast, are you training for a marathon to participate in the sports meet?" Zhong Pinliang was in a really good mood today, so he joked with Zhang Neipao. "Brother Liang, please, save my dad, save my brother," Zhang Neipao said, and knelt down in front of Zhong Pinliang with a thump. Zhang Neipao's sudden and inexplicable behavior stunned Zhong Pinliang. "Paozi, what's wrong with you? What happened to your dad and your brother? How can I save you? Can you explain it clearly?" Zhong Pinliang frowned, confused and unable to understand what he was saying. "Brother Liang, please promise me." Zhang Neipao still knelt on the ground and begged. Chapter 184 Zhang Neipao's request for help. "Paozi, get up first. What's the matter with you kneeling on the ground?" Zhong Pinliang looked at Zhang Neipao and it didn't seem like he was joking. However, it was not right for him to kneel on the school playground. "Brother Liang, please promise me. I will get up if you promise me." Zhang Neipao's only hope now was Zhong Pinliang. If Zhong Pinliang was willing to help him, his family could still be saved. Okay, I promise you, get up quickly. Zhong Pinliang pulled Zhang Neipao up. Paozi, just say what you want to say. This isn't school. What will others think of you kneeling on the ground? I'm sorry, Brother Liang, I'm really too anxious. Zhang Neipao felt that his behavior was inappropriate after hearing what Zhong Pinliang said. Don't be anxious, you can't be like this, Zhong Pinliang said. Okay, let's talk about what happened first. Brother Liang, my dad is in business, and he was set up by his rival, Zhang Neipao explained. Now he can't pay back the debt, and people are going to sue him for fraud, and he will go to jail. Oh, Zhong Pinliang frowned. He knew Zhang Neipao's family background. It was pretty good, right? His father was doing business outside, and his mother was a full-time housewife. I don't know why such a thing happened this time. But what does this have to do with your brother? Zhong Pinliang asked. They forced my dad to pay back the debt and asked my brother to sell a kidney, said Zhang Neipao. Ask your brother to sell his kidney? Zhong Pinliang was puzzled. Why not let you go? If I could sell it, I would. Why ask my brother to go? Zhang Neipao said. I checked it out. It's not a big deal that I have negative blood. Anyway, I don't really understand it. It's just that kidneys for people with my blood type are difficult to match. There are not many people who need them, so I can't sell them for a while. I see, Zhong Pinliang nodded. Then how can I help you, Brother Liang? Can you lend my family some money to tide us over this difficult time? Zhang Neipao said. I will work like a slave in the future, and I will repay you for your kindness in this life. How much? Although Zhong Pinliang was not a good person, Zhang Neipao had been with him for so long, always acting as his follower and pioneer, so Zhong Pinliang couldn't just ignore him. 700,000, Zhang Neipao said carefully. What? 700,000? So much? Zhong Pinliang was stunned. If it was only a few 100,000 or 80,000, it would be enough for him to collect the New Year's money from himself, but he definitely couldn't come up with the amount of 700,000. Yes, Brother Liang, if it wasn't a huge amount, I wouldn't come to you for help, Zhang Neipao said with a bitter face. Brother Liang, please help me. From now on, whenever you need me, just tell me. If your family needs a cow, I will be the cow. If your family needs a horse, I will be the horse. Brother Liang, if you ask me to commit suicide, I won't even blink an eye. Hey, Neipao, don't worry. This matter is of great importance. I don't have that much money, you know, Zhong Pinliang said. I can only call my dad. You go back to the classroom first. I'll think about how to tell my dad about this. Brother Liang, you have to help me. Zhang Neipao heard Zhong Pinliang say this and thought he was just trying to fool himself and didn't want to help. Neipao, listen to me, you have been with me for 3 years. I will definitely do my best for your matter. Don't think too much, I'm just thinking about how to talk to my dad. Zhong Pinliang patted Zhang Neipao on the shoulder and said comfortingly. Okay, Brother Liang, I'll go back first, you must help me. Zhang Neipao nodded. Back in the classroom, Zhong Pinliang has been thinking about Zhang Neipao's affairs. Logically speaking, although the 700,000 yuan can only be regarded as a small amount for his family, after all, this money can buy a luxury car. Zhong Pinliang cannot help but consider it carefully. In theory, Zhang Neipao has been with him for 3 years, acting as his younger brother for 3 years, serving him every day, and he has never complained. This makes Zhong Pinliang a little moved. However, although he is moved, Zhong Pinliang values the benefits that these 700,000 yuan will bring him. After spending the 700,000, Zhong Pinliang believed that Zhang Neipao owed him a favor, a very big favor. If he asked Zhang Neipao to help him in the future, given Zhang Neipao's character, he would definitely not refuse. But is 700,000 worth it? Zhong Pinliang secretly weighed the pros and cons, judging from Zhang Neipao's behavior of sacrificing himself to save his father and brother. This kid is still a bit loyal, but does he need his loyalty? Zhong Pinliang decided to call and ask his father's opinion. Thinking of this, Zhang Neipao took advantage of the time when there was no class in the morning self-study class, left the classroom, went to the bathroom, and saw that there was no one inside, so he took out his mobile phone and called his father Zhang Fabai. Pinliang, Zhang Fabai received a call from his son as soon as he arrived at the company. His heart sank. This period of time can be said to be a turbulent time. He had just settled the matter of Black Panther, so he must not let anything go wrong. Normally, Zhang Pinliang would not call him on his own initiative. If he did, It must be because of something important, so he hurriedly asked, "What happened, Dad?" "I have something to discuss with you," Zhong Pinliang said. "Oh? What is it?" Zhong Fabei breathed a sigh of relief when he heard that Zhong Pinliang was just looking for him to discuss something. As long as there was no big problem, it would be fine. "It's like this. Do you remember Zhang Neipao from our class?" Zhong Pinliang asked tentatively. "Zhang Neipao? I know him, your little follower. What happened to him?" Zhong Fabei knew Zhang Neipao. This kid often came to play at home with a guy named Gao Xiaofu. "It's like this. Something happened in Zhang Neipao's family. His father was cheated in business and now owes a lot of debts. The other party asked him to pay back the money, and if he doesn't, they will sue him," Zhong Pinliang explained briefly. "Now Zhang Neipao has come to me for help and wants me to lend him some money to tide him over the difficulties." "Oh, that's what happened." Zhong Fabei roughly understood it. "In fact, this matter is very simple. It's nothing more than his son's classmate's family having difficulties in coming to his son to borrow money." "Son, what do you think, Dad?" "In theory, Zhang Neipao is my buddy. He has been with me for so long and has been at my service. He is in trouble this time and asked me to borrow money. I should lend him money," Zhong Pinliang said, "but the amount he wants to borrow is really a bit large." "How much?" Zhong Fabei asked. 700,000. "And I guess I won't be able to get this money back once it's let out," said Zhong Pinliang. Chapter 185 Winning People's Hearts. 700,000 is a huge sum of money for an ordinary family, Zhong Fabei nodded, but this money was nothing to him. "So what do you think?" "I'm wondering if it's worth giving this money away," Zhong Pinliang said. "Son, in society, loyalty is important." Zhong Fabei smiled and comforted his son. "Just like this Zhang Neipao, he is your subordinate. If something happens to him, you are his boss, you can't just ignore it. But the key is, what is the character of your subordinate? Can he go through fire and water for you? If you need him in the future, can he stand up for you?" "Dad, I can guarantee this. Although Zhang Neipao is a little silly, he is definitely a loyal person. I helped him this time. If there's anything in the future that needs him, he said he would let him die," Zhong Pinliang said. "Haha, isn't that it?" Zhong Fabei smiled and said, "When I was young, I also helped a subordinate. It was just a help, and there was no need for him at that time. But many years later, the shoddy project I built was exposed, and the subordinate took the initiative to stand up and take the blame for me. So, Pinliang, you have to be accurate in judging people. If this Zhang Neipao is really a useful person, I will give him the money." "Dad, I'm not doing any projects and I don't need anyone to take the blame." Zhong Pinliang still felt a little unwilling. "That was 700,000. Why don't you have any? I've already settled the Black Panther incident for you. If he'd pointed you out, you'd have gone to jail too. With Zhang Neipao, you can completely pin the blame on him, saying he was the mastermind and you were just tricked into participating. Isn't that enough?" Zhong Fabei said. "Of course, taking the blame is only one aspect. He can also do some dangerous things, like killing someone else, things you can't do yourself. So, if he's not a problem, 700,000 is worth it." "Dad, I get it. I'll talk to him later." Zhong Pinliang, listening to his father, felt that this was indeed the case. If he ever got into trouble in the future, or if there was something he couldn't do himself, he could have Zhang Neipao do it. It would be like having a backup plan. "Go ahead, Pinliang, you've grown up now. It's time to cultivate your own people and confidence," Zhong Fabei said. "This will also be very useful for your future in society." Zhong Pinliang agreed. After hanging up his father's phone, Zhong Pinliang directly called Zhang Neipao's cell phone. Zhang Neipao was in the classroom, not daring to answer the phone. However, when he saw it was Zhong Pinliang calling, he quickly stood up and ran out of the classroom. He looked around and saw Zhong Pinliang standing at the door of the bathroom, waving at him. He quickly ran over and said, "Brother Liang, you're looking for me, Paozi. I've talked to my dad about your situation," Zhong Pinliang said, deliberately leaving the question in suspense and pausing. "Brother Liang, what's going on? What did Uncle Zhuang say?" Zhang Neipao was filled with excitement and anxiety, his face changing color. He looked at Zhong Pinliang anxiously, waiting for his final answer. "My dad said that you are my buddy, and he will give me this money." Zhong Pinliang patted Zhang Neipao's shoulder. "After school, come with me to my dad's company to get the money." "Really? Brother Liang?" Zhang Neipao looked at Zhong Pinliang in disbelief. "Brother Liang, are you really willing to lend me 700,000? "I'm not lending it to you, I'm giving it to you," Zhong Pinliang knew that Zhang Neipao could not pay back the money, and his family was not short of 700,000, so according to his father's meaning, he might as well use the money to buy people's hearts. You are my little brother, how can I ignore you when you are in trouble, Brother Liang? You are really my boss. Zhang Neipao was so excited when he heard what Zhong Pinliang said, and knelt on the ground again with a thump. Brother Liang, Zhang Neipao, am not a person who does not know how to repay a favor. Don't worry, in the future, if your brother Liang tells me to hang myself, I will definitely not jump into the water. If you tell me to go east, I will cut off my head and throw it to the east, and I will never go west. Haha. Zhong Pinliang smiled and helped Zhang Neipao to his feet. He then said, it's a little early to talk about this now. I know you, Zhang Neipao, but whether you can handle it in a crucial moment, we'll have to wait until later. Brother Liang, in all honesty, if you don't believe me, I'd kill myself right now, Zhang Neipao said anxiously. That's not what I meant. Okay, Neipao, I understand your feelings, isn't that enough? Let's go back to the classroom. I'll need you later, so don't refuse. Zhong Pinliang nodded in satisfaction. It seemed that Zhang Neipao had been bought off, and he had a way out for the future. Kang Xiaobo spent the entire night last night thinking about going to Tang Yun's house for barbecue, and couldn't sleep. As the saying goes, what girl doesn't have spring in her heart, and what boy doesn't have passionate feelings? In this age filled with sunshine, youth, dreams of the future, and ignorant hopes for love, Kang Xiaobo also hoped to meet a beautiful girl and start a beautiful romance with her. Even though he knew Tang Yun couldn't possibly like him, Kang Xiaobo was still excited. Even if nothing happened, going to the school beauty's house for dinner would still be something to talk about. Boss, are we going on Saturday or Sunday? Kang Xiaobo said, eagerly. I don't know, Lin Yi shrugged. Why are you so eager? Hey, the school beauty's treating, and you're the only one who doesn't take it seriously, Kang Xiaobo said. How many boys want to get close to the school beauty but can't find the means? A chance to be alone with her, and you're not excited. Lin Yi was speechless. Why am I excited? I have 2 school beauties at home, but he couldn't say that to Kang Xiaobo. I'm just generally excited. She seems to dislike me, boss, be content. It's impossible to dislike Tang Yun with anyone else. She's not talkative, Kang Xiaobo said. Well, let's go ask during lunch break. Lin Yi was thinking about buying concert CDs for Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. He was worried about not having anyone to accompany them, so he dragged Kang Xiaobo along. Okay, Kang Xiaobo nodded repeatedly. Let's go together and have some barbecue on the way. Forget about a barbecue. If we go now, Tang Yun's mother will definitely not charge, Lin Yi said. You can't let her pay twice. Right, that's right. Kang Xiaobo also knew the situation of Tang Yun's family. Even if they didn't eat anything, this meal would cost 30 or 40 yuan. It was a bit embarrassing to let Tang's mother pay for it, but I still want to eat. Chapter 186 sold out and closed the stall. So, are you going to Tang Yun's house for dinner this weekend, or for lunch today? Which one? Lin Yi asked. Then let's go to Tang Yun's house this weekend, Kang Xiaobo said, clearly unwilling to miss out on a good weekend opportunity. Tests were almost daily for senior year, and half of the morning's classes were spent on exams. Although Lin Yi had initially entertained the idea of completing a mission and playing around with the world, he had now completely integrated into his current life, into this school, this class, and most importantly, into his age. Lin Yi felt much younger during this period, starting to think from his own perspective. He began to enjoy chatting with new friends and joking with beautiful girls. He fell in love with this school, this class, and Tang Yun, this somewhat arrogant yet lovely girl. But he didn't know how long this would last. Perhaps in a few days, perhaps a few months, he would return to his old life, and none of this would belong to him anymore. Truly enjoying the beauty of life had made Lin Yi weary of his previous existence, which was nothing but thrilling action and constant slaughter, devoid of passion. He felt numb in the face of his enemies. I should talk to the old man. Perhaps this is the life I long for. At noon, Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo left the classroom. Because the last class had a test, it was delayed for a while. Class 3-5 of senior year finished a little later than the other classes. Most of the students in the teaching building had already left. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu went to the cafeteria as usual. They ate in the small restaurant on the second floor, not caring about the crowds on the first floor. There was no need to queue to order. The snack street was bustling and bustling every day at noon. The senior students were busy, so not many came here. However, the freshmen and sophomores had already packed the place. The snacks here were not clean or particularly delicious, but they were much better than the big pot meals in the school cafeteria, and the prices were much cheaper. Tang's mother's barbecue stall, located on the inner side of the snack street, was unusually popular today, with many students surrounding it. That's how news is on campus, good or bad, it spreads incredibly fast. Just like when Lin Yi handed Tang Yun a love letter, practically the entire senior class knew about it before even a single class had even started. The same thing happened with Tang's mother's barbecue stall. The alluring aroma, coupled with the rave reviews from students who had tried it, drew a huge crowd from those who followed. It's often like that, the more people there are, the more they want to join in the fun, because more people means more delicious food. While Tang's mother was excited, she felt incredibly overwhelmed. It looked like the ingredients she'd prepared today wouldn't even be enough for lunch. She'd have to go home this afternoon and stock up. Are you still going? Lin Yi gave Kang Xiaobo a wry smile. There are a lot of people here. Asking her when she's coming over this weekend in front of all those people is a bit awkward. Do you think Tang Yun can answer? Kang Xiaobo reflected, and it made sense. Tang Yun was already afraid of rumors of an affair with Lin Yi. How could he possibly answer when she'd be there this weekend? If something unpleasant happens, the weekend treat might be cancelled. Then let's wait a while, Kang Xiaobo asked hesitantly. Accompany me to the bookstore and buy some things, Lin Yi nodded. Come back later, after dinner when there are fewer people. Kang Xiaobo didn't know what Lin Yi wanted to buy, but he admired Lin Yi so much that he agreed to whatever Lin Yi said without thinking. In the bookstore, Kang Xiaobo was a little surprised to see Lin Yi bought a CD of Su Shihan's concert. Boss, do you like Su Shihan too? Oh, Lin Yi didn't know how to answer this question. A little bit, a little. Kang Xiaobo was stunned. A little bit, and even went so far to buy an authentic copy? Actually, I bought it as a gift for a friend. This was the only explanation Lin Yi could give. Fortunately, Kang Xiaobo did not ask too many questions, and the topic turned to Su Shihan. Boss, I like Su Shihan too. I heard that she is a rare pure and innocent girl in the entertainment industry. Pure and innocent girl? Lin Yi curled his lips. How many innocent girls have been proven to have turned into lustful women? Such superficial things cannot be trusted. The two of them ate beef noodles downstairs in the bookstore before returning to school. When they arrived at the snack street, they unexpectedly found that Tang's mother's stall was gone. However, the other stalls were still there, and it didn't look like any law enforcement agencies had come to evict them. Besides, this snack street was approved by the street office, and under normal circumstances, no one would come to evict them. Lin Yi was a little puzzled. Xiaobo, was that the location just now? Lin Yi pointed to the place where Tang's mother had set up her stall before. Yeah, but why is it gone? Boss, wait a minute, I'll ask someone, Kang Xiaobo said as he ran to a barbecue stall at the front of the snack street and asked, Uncle, let me ask, where is Tangji barbecue in there? Wasn't it here just now? A trace of resentment flashed across the face of the barbecue stall owner, and he said coldly, it's sold out and closed. It's the same if you buy from me, forget it, yours isn't tasty, Kang Xiaobo said casually and turned away. Fuck, the barbecue stall owner cursed. He was about to explode. Today's customers were almost all taken away by Tangji Barbecue. His barbecue stall, the first in the snack street, actually sold 2/3 less than usual. This made him very angry. In the past, when Tangji Barbecue was not very popular, he didn't care, but now he is jealous. He has been selling barbecue in this snack street for some years and is an old man here. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to occupy this front position. Zhang Baigan was very angry that he, an old man, was defeated by a newcomer like Tang's mother. Seeing that another student came to Tang's barbecue and said that his barbecue was not delicious, Zhang Baigan's face immediately darkened. It was still like this on the first day, and many students didn't know about it. If it goes on for a few days, how could his family have any business? Zhang Baigan felt that he had to do something. You know, before today, his barbecue was the best selling in this snack street, but since Tang's mother got a new recipe from somewhere today, the situation has changed all of a sudden. Zhang Baigan walked towards another barbecue stall with a gloomy face. Lao Wang, how is your business today? Chapter 187 Tang Yun's best friend. Back in the classroom, Lin Yi wasn't in a rush to give Chu Mengyao the concert CD. They wouldn't be able to watch it now, so he'd wait until they got home tonight. However, Chen Yushu did send a text asking if he'd bought the CD. Lin Yi replied, yes. Chen Yushu then turned around and winked at him. Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen accompanied Tang's mother to move their stall to a nearby warehouse. Most vendors on the snack street leave their stalls there daily, paying a monthly storage fee of 300 yuan. While the fee wasn't cheap, it was much easier than shuffling them around every day. Seeing her mother's face beaming with excitement and joy, Tang Yun felt both happy and anxious. She hadn't expected a single recipe change to lead to such a hit. Originally, they barely sold out the ingredients by evening, but today, they were sold out before halfway through lunch, and people were still coming in. And it was only the first day. While this recipe might not mean much to Lin Yi, her family still owed him a favor, and Tang Yun couldn't deny it. Hey, Yunayan, I didn't expect her Lin Yi to be so talented. This recipe is such a hit. After sending Tang's mother to the bus, Liu Xinwen said jokingly as they walked towards school. In fact, she was deliberately testing Tang Yun. She hadn't had time to ask Tang Yun about what she had seen yesterday morning. Although she and Tang Yun were close friends, the academic life of senior year was so intense that it was common for them to go a whole day without seeing each other. This afternoon, Tang's mother and Tang Yun were too busy, so Tang Yun called Liu Xinwen to help. Tang Yun's face flushed for no apparent reason after hearing what Liu Xinwen said. She spat out a bit embarrassedly, what do you mean by my Lin Yi? He and I have nothing to do with each other. Wenwen, don't talk nonsense, really. Liu Xinwen gave Tang Yun a meaningful look. Yunayan, are we best friends? Yes. Wenwen, why are you asking that all of a sudden? Tang Yun's heart subconsciously tightened. Did Liu Xinwen notice something? But, there shouldn't be anything going on between her and Lin Yi, right? Since we're best friends, why are you still hiding this from me? Liu Xinwen reached out and tapped Tang Yun's forehead. Yunayan, have you fallen for me? Tell me the truth, Wenwen, what do you mean by fallen for me? Tang Yun's heart grew increasingly tense. What are you talking about? Why don't I understand? Pretending. Keep pretending. Liu Xinwen looked at Tang Yun with some disappointment. Yunayan, I always thought you and I could talk about anything. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Wenwen, what are you talking about? I really don't know what's going on. Tang Yun grew anxious. If you have something to say, just say it. Yunayan, how did you get to school yesterday morning? Liu Xinwen sighed, staring into Tang Yun's eyes. Tang Yun lowered her head, feeling a little guilty, not daring to look at Liu Xinwen. She had come here in Lin Yi's car yesterday. Did Liu Xinwen know? But how did she know? She had deliberately looked around when she got out of the car. Seeing no one around, she quickly ran off. Yunayan, why are you silent? Liu Xinwen demanded aggressively. I came here in Lin Yi's car, Tang Yun said, but Wenwen, listen to my explanation. Things are not what you think. Oh? Then tell me, what happened? Seeing that Tang Yun admitted it, Liu Xinwen was relieved. After all, Tang Yun did not hide it from her. Yesterday, Li Erlin was pestering me at the bus station. Lin Yi happened to drive by here, so he got off the car and drove Li Erlin away. Then I took his car to school, Tang Yun explained carefully. Wenwen, actually, the matter is that simple. There's nothing between him and me. Liu Xinwen also met Li Erlin yesterday. Considering what Tang Yun said before, she believed it a little. Then why did you take his car? At that time, I was a little panicked and at a loss, so Lin Yi pushed me into the car in a daze. Tang Yun explained a little aggrievedly. After he started the car, I realized that it was too late. So that's the case. You really are not moved. Liu Xinwen breathed a sigh of relief. I didn't. Tang Yun hesitated, then shook her head. How could she possibly be attracted to Lin Yi? That was impossible. That's good, Liu Xinwen nodded. By the way, I went to Xiafen's house yesterday. Xiafen's been very emotionally unstable these past 2 days. Xiafen's mother said she kept calling that person's name and even had hallucinations. Oh, Tang Yun sighed after hearing what Liu Xinwen said. She was busy helping her mother run the barbecue stall every day, so she didn't have time to visit Xiafen in the evenings. She had no choice but to ask Liu Xinwen to go. But now it seemed like Xiafen had a serious problem. Tang Yun was anxious, but helpless. I'll go over tonight too. I suggest Anqui take Xiafen to the hospital to see a psychiatrist, Liu Xinwen said. But Anqui's family situation is similar to ours. She's spent a lot of money on Xiaofen's medical treatment over the years. How can she afford to see a psychiatrist? That person didn't come back to see Xiaofen. Tang Yun felt a little indignant. If it weren't for that person, how could Xiaofen be in such a state? Even if Xiaofen is no longer virgin, with her looks, what difficulty would it be for her to find a better boyfriend? No, do you expect that bastard Kang Xiaoming to come to see Xiaofen? Unless the sun rises from the west, Liu Xin once sneered and said cruelly, if Xiaofen hadn't stopped me, I would have castrated that bastard Kang Xiaoming. Tang Yun blushed. Her best friend was so good at talking that she couldn't even respond. Tang Yun was embarrassed to say such things. Forget it, let's not talk about this. Let's go back to review. Liu Xinwen threw away the unpleasantness in her mind and walked towards the school with Tang Yun. In the evening, she had to go with Kang Xiaobo to ask Tang Yun about going to her house on the weekend. Lin Yi couldn't go back with Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu. He sent them a text message to tell them that he and Kang Xiaobo had something to do after school. Chu Mengyao didn't care. She replied I know and left with Chen Yushu. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was slowly packing his things. Only after Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu left did he speed up his work. Boss, why are you so slow today? Hurry up. What if we sell out again? Kang Xiaobo seemed a little anxious, worried that if he was too late, Tang's mother would pack up and leave. Chapter 188 Bullying. No, Lin Yi said calmly. It sold so well at noon, they'll definitely prepare more for dinner. How could it sell out so quickly? That's right, Kang Xiaobo finally felt relieved after hearing Lin Yi's analysis. Lin Yi didn't want Chu Mengyao and Chen Yushu to see him looking for Tang Yun, otherwise Miss Chu might get angry again. With the attitude of less trouble is more trouble than more, Lin Yi held off until they both left. After leaving the school gate, Lin Yi glanced at the nearby intersection. Not seeing Uncle Fu's Bentley, he felt relieved and walked towards the snack street with Kang Xiaobo. Huh? Boss, it can't be that popular, right? Why are there so many people? Kang Xiaobo pointed inside the snack street in surprise, saying, even those people at the other stalls are buying Tang Yun's barbecue. Lin Yi frowned. Many stall owners in the snack street had gathered around Tang Yun's barbecue stall. Of course, Lin Yi didn't believe them saying they were going there to buy Tang Yun's barbecue. Tang Yun might be in trouble. Let's go check it out. Lin Yi quickened his pace. Sure enough, as he approached, he heard a man's loud voice shouting, Boss, what you're doing is unkind, isn't it? We live on the same street, and you're stealing our business. Are you going to let us do our business? The speaker was, of course, Zhang Baigan. He'd been furious at Tang's barbecue being more popular than his own at noon, and unwilling to accept losing business like that, so he led a group of other barbecue-related vendors, planning to attack Tang's mother when she set up her stall that evening. In Zhang Baigan's view, Tang's mother was no different from an orphan and a widow. With her husband bedridden, she was practically useless. They were easy prey, and he knew she'd give in with a little intimidation. Brother, let's talk it over. We're not stealing our business. Tang's mother felt a little intimidated when she saw several people siding with Zhang Baigan. While the onlookers didn't explicitly support Zhang Baigan, none of them spoke up for her, they simply watched the show. You're not stealing our business? You set up your stall here at noon, and all the students go to buy your things. Who are we going to sell to? The woman at another barbecue stall said. You still call that not stealing our business? Do you have to wait until we starve to death before you can say you're not stealing our business? That's right, you alone sell more than all of us combined. Are you going to let us live or not? Another tall, thin man also spoke up. Tang's mother didn't expect that her business would be so prosperous, but she had offended so many people. She didn't know what to do. My mom runs a decent business, how can you say she's stealing yours? Tang Yun was a little angry and stood up for her mother. Ours tastes good, and customers are willing to buy from us. Is that our fault? If you want to do better business, can't you also improve the recipe? Well said, little girl, Zhang Baigan chuckled. We'd like to improve the recipe too. Now that you've said it, I won't be polite. Hand over the recipe so we can all learn from it. Let's call it a day. The recipe is ours. Why should I give it to you? Tang Yun didn't expect Zhang Baigan to be so unreasonable and actually ask for it. If she gave him the recipe, how would her family have the advantage? Why? Just because your family stole our business. We want the recipe. And that's what the people want, right? Brothers and sisters, Zhang Baigan said to the people around him who echoed him. Yet, why not give us the recipe? We can all make money together. It's not good to eat it all by ourselves, the barbecue ladies agreed. It's okay if you don't give us the recipe. You can change it back tomorrow and it will be the same as before. We're all the same, the tall and thin man said sinisterly. We don't give you the recipe, and we won't change it. Tang Yun was so angry that she was about to cry. How could they bully me like this? A bunch of people bullied her mother and daughter? Are there any laws left? Not giving us the recipe? Not changing it, Zhang Baigan sneered. Then it's not up to you. I don't think you can set up a stall in this snack street tomorrow, you. Tang Yun's eyes were red and tears were about to flow. Don't bully me like this, right? Just because business is good, you can't set up a stall? Yun or Tang's mother was afraid that Tang Yun would do something irrational, so she hugged her and pointed at Zhang Baigan with a trembling finger. Are you bullying me because there's no man in my family? Bullying us, mother and daughter? What kind of ability do you have? If your lover wasn't bedridden, they wouldn't be so arrogant, right? Don't say such harsh words. This is what the people want. Zhang Baigan came here today just to bully Tang Yun's family because they didn't have a man. He had already figured out the details of Tang Yun's family. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so unscrupulous today. Tang's mother hugged Tang Yun, shaking with anger. Why is it so difficult to do some business? Seeing that her family is making money, they come to bully others. Isn't this too much? Tang Yun was a little annoyed that she was not a boy. If she were a boy, they wouldn't dare to be so unscrupulous, right? Looking at the group of vendors standing nearby who were watching but had no intention of interfering in their affairs, Tang Yun felt a little desperate. The family had just recovered and had new hope, but it was going to go back to the way it was before. Xuanyuan, your mother, Lin Yi pushed through the crowd and rushed in directly. Isn't Zhang Baigan a bit too much? Bullying Tang Yun and her daughter? What was he thinking? Didn't he know that he was protecting her and her mother? The vendor who was pushed away by Lin Yi was about to curse, but when he saw Lin Yi's expression, he immediately shut his mouth. This was the new bad boy from number 1 middle school. Even a powerful figure like Zhu Ruiming was slapped in the face by him and couldn't say a word. Who else would dare to offend him? Lin Yi grabbed Zhang Baigan by the back of his neck and lifted him up. Are you the leader? Who the hell is that? Zhang Baigan was suddenly grabbed by his clothes. He opened his mouth to curse, but when he saw Lin Yi's expression, he shuddered. He had a deep impression of Lin Yi. A man who slapped Zhu Ruiming so hard that he couldn't even fart was a real ruthless person. Zhang Baigan used to sell seafood stir-fry, but Zhu Ruiming got a stomach ache from eating it. The next day, he came and smashed his stall and beat him so hard that he couldn't get out of bed for several days. After his injury healed, he didn't dare to sell seafood stir-fry anymore. He switched to selling barbecue. But he was very afraid of Zhu Ruiming. It was no secret that Zhu Ruiming had a brother who was the leader of the gangs in the North City. After Zhang Baigan found out, he didn't dare to think about it anymore. He thought they were just playing with him. But today, Lin Yi, who had even beaten Zhu Ruiming, was looking for trouble with him. Zhang Baigan was so scared that he almost wet his pants. If this guy dared to beat Zhu Ruiming so easily, wouldn't be beating him easy and enjoyable? Chapter 189 Smash it down. Thanks to those friends who voted, subscribed, and gave rewards. Little brother, what's the matter? Zhang Baigan's words were a little unclear, and his previous domineering attitude was changed. His face looked a little ugly. The old barbecue lady and the gloomy-faced tall and thin man obviously knew Lin Yi. Who doesn't know the evil Lin who slapped Zhu Ruiming in the snack street last week and made him dare not fight back? Such a powerful figure, who doesn't know him? And his follower Zhang Baigan's eyes suddenly focused. Seeing Kang Xiaobo's appearance, he suddenly remembered the students who talked to him at noon. Wasn't he Kang Xiaobo? He was Lin Yi's follower? Then they and Tangji barbecue suddenly. Zhang Baigan thought of a sad fact, that is, the reason why Lin Yi slapped Zhu Ruiming last time was because of Tang Yun. And who is Tang Yun? The daughter of the owner of Tangji barbecue. This time, is Lin Yi here to stand up for them? Thinking of this possibility, Zhang Baigan was paralyzed with fear, his face drained of blood. How could he have overlooked such an important matter? He had originally thought that Tangji barbecue's family had no men, and that he could bully them at will. But he hadn't expected the man to show up, and what a ruthless man he was. You want the recipe? Lin Yi felt a little sympathetic towards these small vendors, earning their hard-earned money every day. But sympathy wasn't a reason for them to bully others. Tang Yun's mother also earned her money with her own hands, without stealing or robbing. Yet, seeing that Tang Yun's mother was making money, they came to cause trouble and forcefully demanded the recipe. This behavior infuriated Lin Yi. "No, I don't want it. I don't want it. I was just joking. How could Zhang Baigan dare to ask for it now?" In his opinion, it would be useless for these wealthy young masters to beat him up. What about Zhu Ruiming, the gangster boss? How could he be more powerful than Zhu Ruiming? "I gave you the recipe. If you want it, I can give you one." Lin Yi let go of Zhang Baigan, and Zhang Baigan lost his balance and sat on the ground. "No, I really don't want to." If Zhang Baigan was still thinking about the recipe at this time, it would be like having his brain punctured. "No, what are you doing?" Standing in front of someone's stall, watching the fun, Lin Yi sneered, his eyes sweeping over the vendors who were watching the fun before. Lin Yi didn't have too much resentment towards these people. Zhang Baigan was the old man here. It was impossible for them not to support Zhang Baigan and speak for Tang Yun's family, so Lin Yi didn't think of causing trouble for them. However, it would be okay to scare them today, so that they wouldn't think that there was no one in Tang Yun's family and they could bully them unscrupulously in the future. These vendors were frightened by Lin Yi's eyes and quickly dispersed to do their own things. This show was not good to watch, and if they were not careful, they would get into trouble. "You two, don't leave." Lin Yi pointed at the barbecue lady and the tall and thin man who were about to leave with the crowd. "No, it's none of our business." It was Zhang Baigan's idea. The barbecue woman had also calmed down. She was clearly a bully, and seeing Lin Yi's toughness, she immediately became cautious. Yet, it was Zhang Baigan's idea. "He just asked us to come," the tall, thin man said. "You do whatever he tells you to do?" "Then you do whatever I tell you to do," Lin Yi asked back. The barbecue woman had no idea what Lin Yi meant, but she went along with it. "Hey, what do you want us to do? You two shouldn't sell barbecue tomorrow. Change your profession." "Is that okay?" Lin Yi rolled his eyes and immediately changed their profession. The barbecue woman and the tall, thin man looked at each other, wanting to object, but not daring to. Who knew if Lin Yi would suddenly turn against them? "Xiaobo," Lin Yi finished, ignoring the two accomplices and turning back to call out to Kang Xiaobo. "Boss, I'm here." "You called me." Kang Xiaobo ran over excitedly. "Awesome, really awesome." Although Kang Xiaobo was just a follower, he was excited after following Lin Yi and watching the whole process. "Go and smash this stall." Lin Yi pointed at Zhang Baigan and said to Kang Xiaobo. "Okay." Kang Xiaobo nodded and walked towards Zhang Baigan's stall. In full view of everyone, he kicked Zhang Baigan's stall and directly overturned it. Charcoal, meat skewers, and money boxes were all scattered on the ground. Kang Xiaobo was still not satisfied. He stepped on the barbecue grill one by one, and it was deformed. It was basically impossible to use it again. Zhang Baigan's heart was bleeding, but he didn't dare to say no to smashing the stall. It was okay, but he didn't want to get himself smashed again. Last time, Zhu Ruiming beat him so hard that he couldn't get out of bed for several days. Lin Yi broke out in a cold sweat just thinking about Zhang Baigan. "Alright," Lin Yi waved at Kang Xiaobo, signaling that he could come back. Then Lin Yi turned to Zhang Baigan and said, "This time they smashed the stall, next time they'll smash people. Your place is great, I'll give it to Tang Ji tomorrow. Do you have any objections?" No. Zhang Baigan could only nod. What else could he say? They had already made it very clear. This time they smashed the stall, next time they'll smash people. If he said no, they would start smashing people until he agreed. "Since you're quite obedient, I'll give you the Tang Ji spot. Tomorrow you can sell something else." Lin Yi changed Zhang Baigan's business again. "Is that okay?" "Okay, I'll definitely change it." Zhang Baigan nodded. His barbecue grill was smashed, and he couldn't do it anymore. It was not bad to be able to change his business. Even if Lin Yi asked him to sell barbecue now, he wouldn't dare to do it. What if he competed with Tang Ji for customers, and Lin Yi, the evil star, turned around and smashed the stall again? Who could bear it? "Xiaobo, come take a look around tomorrow when you have nothing to do and see if they have changed their business. If not, just smash them." Lin Yi gave Kang Xiaobo an order. "No problem, boss, leave it to me, I'm good at this." Kang Xiaobo nodded in agreement, and looked at the barbecue woman and the tall and thin man with a grin. The last bit of hope for these two people was shattered. If they didn't want to be smashed tomorrow, they should change their business. They felt a little regretful for believing Zhang Baigan's deception, such as getting the formula and dividing it equally among the three of them. Now that even the business has been changed, what's the point of having the formula? Of course, Lin Yi didn't really let Kang Xiaobo come to inspect, he just wanted to scare these people. He didn't have that much time. Lin Yi had no sympathy for Zhang Baigan. He deserved it completely. I hope he can learn from his mistakes in the future. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 190: A Fragile Heart. With Lin Yi's skills, bullying these small vendors was a bit of an exaggeration. However, Zhang Baigan had crossed Lin Yi's bottom line. Lin Yi was not very clear about the situation of Tang Yun's family, but it was definitely not rich. The fact that Tang Yun's father did not show up here also gave Lin Yi some guesses. Zhang Baigan was obviously bullying people. In this case, Lin Yi could only bully him and let him know that bullying the weak is not so easy. Why are you still sitting here? Waiting for me to treat you to a meal? Lin Yi asked Zhang Baigan, who was sitting on the ground. Zhang Baigan forced a smile and quickly got up from the ground. I dare not, I'm leaving now, With that, Zhang Baigan ran away quickly. He did not dare to take the money from the stall on the ground. He just picked up the money box and quickly left the snack street. The domineering barbecue lady and the feminine tall and thin man were also quietly packing up their stalls. Tomorrow, they will change their careers. Auntie, are you okay? Lin Yi sent Zhang Baigan away and walked towards Tang's mother, who was a little bewildered. The changes before and after made Tang's mother unable to react. No, it's okay. Tang's mother came back to her senses from the shock. Zhang Baigan's domineering face was still vivid in her mind, but now he ran away in disgrace. All this was just because of the young man in front of her. So what if Zhang Baigan is domineering? There are people who are more domineering than him. Tang Yun lowered her head, feeling very complicated, not knowing what to say. From the perspective of an excellent student, she did not agree with Lin Yi's way of handling the matter, but she had to admit that Lin Yi's way of handling the matter was the most appropriate. Zhang Baigan would never dare to bully his family again in the future, but why did Lin Yi do this? Why did he help his family? Tang Yun knew full well that Lin Yi was trying to please her, to pursue her, to win her heart this way. While the method was cliché, Tang Yun had to admit it was effective. At least, in her eyes, Lin Yi wasn't so hateful anymore. Even if he was hateful, he was only to those who were more hateful. He had so domineeringly barged into her life and become involved with her family. Tang Yun wanted to shake Lin Yi off, but she couldn't. How should she face Lin Yi in the future? Should she continue to mock him? Tang Yun asked herself that she couldn't do it. She was not a heartless person. Lin Yi did so much, no matter what it was, he helped her and her family. So Tang Yun could only choose to avoid Lin Yi's identity and make her hesitate. Thinking of Xiaofen's painful lesson, Tang Yun's heart closed again. Lin Yi looked at Tang Yun, who lowered her head and didn't speak, and didn't care. Auntie, I just came here after school to ask when you will come over for the weekend. Tang Yun didn't make it clear before, so I thought I would ask again. Saturday morning, come whenever you are free. Our home is at the third gate of Kinkao Hutuang in the shantytown. Tang's mother recovered from her shock, but her face was full of gratitude. Lin Yi, thank you so much for what you did today. If you hadn't come, we, mother and daughter, would have been bullied without knowing what to do. Haha, not in the future. Lin Yi smiled. Auntie, Zaya Abo and I will leave first. See you on Saturday, otherwise, sit here. Auntie will grill something for you. Tang's mother would naturally not let Lin Yi go like this. She had to thank him no matter what. The more Tang's mother saw Lin Yi, the more she liked him. This young man, though possessing the domineering and overbearing airs of a spoiled brat, was actually quite reasonable. While he could be quite formidable when he acted domineering, he was usually quite easygoing with those he knew. Let's skip dinner today. It's getting late. Let's come to your house on Saturday. Lin Yi's phone had just vibrated twice. It must have been a text from Chu Mengyao or Chen Yushu, so he had to hurry back. Okay then, Tang's mother said, seeing Lin Yi insistent. Yuner, go see your classmate off. Oh, Tang Yun nodded reluctantly, But this time she didn't refuse. She lowered her head and said nothing as she approached Lin Yi. How? Lin Yi smiled faintly as he and Kang Xiaobo turned to leave. Tang Yun followed him, neither in front nor behind, her thoughts unclear. Okay, if you don't want to see me off, then don't. Go back, Lin Yi said, looking at Tang Yun with a hint of amusement. No way, Tang Yun hummed. Thank you for today, I just happened to see it. If it were someone else, I might have cared too, Lin Yi said, using the word maybe. In fact, if it were someone else, Lin Yi might not have cared at all. If he cared about everything, then there was no point in staying here. He might as well be Ultraman or Spider-Man. Of course, Tang Yun didn't believe Lin Yi's talk of just being there. She figured if it weren't for her, why would a young master like him care about such a thing? But the more favors she owed Lin Yi, the more uneasy she felt. Do you really want to be my friend? Tang Yun suddenly raised her head and looked at Lin Yi. Huh? Tang Yun's reaction startled Lin Yi. He was a little surprised by Tang Yun's sudden question. In fact, it took a lot of courage for Tang Yun to ask. It was impossible for her not to have any thoughts about Lin Yi intruding into her family's life. She wanted to confirm Lin Yi's intentions. However, while Tang Yun seemed confident when she asked this question, she was actually feeling guilty. For a girl to ask such a question made her blush. Fortunately, it was nighttime, so Lin Yi wouldn't be able to tell her otherwise. Tang Yun was nervous, so Lin Yi's was taken as a nod to her question. Do your parents know? Will they agree? Tang Yun asked before Lin Yi could actually answer. Honestly, Tang Yun was also nervous about what Lin Yi had done for her family. She could see it, and she herself wasn't sure what to make of him. She felt a mixture of dislike and a special feeling. My parents. Lin Yi was stunned again. Who are his parents? He didn't know. Old man Lin said that he was an orphan. Lin Yi's daze was taken by Tang Yun's hesitation. Tang Yun's fragile heart tightened slightly, and the feelings that had just sprouted disappeared in an instant. It turned out that he was just playing around after all, and never planned to tell his parents about his affairs, and never planned to be with her for the rest of her life. So why was she still entangled? Chapter 191 More active. Tang Yun turned around and ran quickly towards her mother. In a blink of an eye, she disappeared into the night. When Lin Yi came to his senses, he saw that Lin Yi had run away. He sighed softly. Did he fall in love with this girl? Lin Yi didn't know whether he had become mature or impulsive. If it were a year ago, he would never have such an idea. Has the comfortable life in recent days changed him? It seems that he needs to talk to the old man at home. Boss, what's the matter with you? Kang Xiaobo, who had been standing aside, finally couldn't help but said when he saw Tang Yun running away, what are you staring at? Tang Yun took the initiative to ask you if you wanted to be friends with her, but you were stunned. Kang Xiaobo looked like he was disappointed with his son, a typical example of the emperor being anxious but the eunuch is anxious. She just wanted to confirm my feelings. Nothing more. Lin Yi shook his head. Let's go. Stop looking, boss, I really don't know what to say. Such a great opportunity, and you didn't seize it. Kang Xiaobo hung his head and stamped his feet, as if it was his own business. There will be another chance. Lin Yi patted the back of Kang Xiaobo's head. Let's go. I have to get back. In the taxi, Lin Yi checked the text on his phone. Sure enough, it was from Chu Mengyao, simply asking when he'd be home. It seemed that the young lady wasn't as cold as she appeared. After spending some time together, Lin Yi had a good understanding of Chu Mengyao's personality. She was cold on the outside, but warm on the inside. Although she had a bit of a ladylike temper, she didn't really treat him as a lackey or servant. This was the main reason Lin Yi accepted the job and stayed. Serving two young ladies, such a good opportunity, would be highly sought after, and Lin Yi was well aware of it. He texted Chu Mengyao, telling her he'd be home soon. After waiting for a while, with no reply, Lin Yi smiled wryly and shook his head. She still had the demeanor of a young lady. After paying for the taxi, Lin Yi returned to the villa. Uncle Fu had already given him a key to the main entrance, so there was no need for Chu Mengyao and the others to open the door. Lin Yi opened the door himself and entered the villa. The living room was empty. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu had obviously gone upstairs. General Weiwu crouched lazily at the stairwell. Seeing it was Lin Yi who opened the door, he lowered his head and resumed his pretense of sleep. Lin Yi put down his school bag and went to the dining room. Uncle Fu had already delivered the meal. Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu had obviously already eaten. Huh? Lin Yi couldn't help but smile as he looked at the dishes on the dining table. The two young ladies had helped themselves to the food today, putting a little of each onto their plates. Even so, their appetites weren't big, so they still didn't finish it. The food in the sealed box remained untouched, presumably reserved for Lin Yi. He didn't know which young lady had suggested it, but his salary had definitely improved. Chen Yushu and himself were pretty good, but this chick, Lin Yi, shook his head. He was glad she didn't pour Chu Mengyao's food back into her lunchbox, pretending it was untouched, so he could eat it. It had to be Chu Mengyao, the young lady. She wasn't bad to him, Lin Yi thought, as he went to get a bowl of rice and wolfed it down. After dinner, Lin Yi cleaned his lunchbox, placed a concert CD he bought at noon on the coffee table in the living room, and returned to his room. Lin Yi was ready to call the old man to discuss what was going on. After closing the door, Lin Yi dialed the old man's number. Normally, Lin Yi wouldn't contact the old man while on a mission, only checking in after it was over. The phone rang several times before the old man's somewhat lewd voice finally reached him. "Hello, old man, this is Zai," Lin Yi said after a pause. "Oh? Zai, how is it going? How did the mission go?" The old man was clearly drinking. The sound of cracking peanuts could be heard. It would have been fine if the mission hadn't been mentioned. But once it was, Lin Yi was speechless. "Old man, what exactly is this mission you've assigned me? I'm just following the young lady around like a lackey every day. You want me to be a top-notch servant? What mission?" "You'll find out after a while." Old man Lin clearly didn't want to waste any more words on this topic. "A long time? How long exactly?" This was the question that Lin Yi cared about, and it also set the stage for what he was going to say next. "Haha, as long as you want. There's no time limit. It depends on how fast you complete it," Old man Lin said nonchalantly. "As long as you want? Really?" Lin Yi hesitated, then expressed his thoughts. "Old man, I'm kind of thinking about staying here." "Oh? You already want to stay there? That's great." Old man Lin was immediately excited when he heard Lin Yi's words. "So your mission is progressing well? That's a good start." "What do you mean?" Lin Yi was a little confused. "What did this have to do with the progress of the mission?" "Nothing. If you think it's good, then don't come back. In a few years, I will also settle down there. You can first lay a solid foundation there and have a few kids. I will go there and become a grandfather directly." Old man Lin seemed to agree with Lin Yi staying in Songshan, and was even more positive than Lin Yi himself. Huh? Lin Yi thought that it would take a lot of effort to convince Old man Lin to let him start a peaceful life, but before he could say anything, Old man Lin asked him to have a child? What did he mean? Was he planning to retire? "I'm talking about the old man's future missions." Lin Yi was a little suspicious. Was this the stingy old man and his family? In order to make some money, he arranged some dangerous missions for himself. Missions? There will be no missions in the future. This is the last one, Old man Lin said. "Of course, if you are willing to stretch your muscles, you can take on a few missions." This, Lin Yi speculated here, was Old man Lin drunk? Originally, Lin Yi was hesitant about how to talk to the old man. After all, he didn't belong to this kind of life before. But before he opened his mouth, the old man advised him to have a baby. Although Lin Yi was a little sweaty, but a worry was put to rest. He would go to Tangyun tomorrow without worrying or scruples. If it weren't for the fact that his two young ladies could not be moved, Lin Yi would not have gone far away. "Is there anything else? Widow Wang from the village is here. I want to catch up with her. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up." Bye. Old man Lin hung up the phone without waiting for Lin Yi to speak. Looking at the phone in his hand, Lin Yi smiled bitterly. Why did all this seem like a dream? Ever since he accepted such a strange task, his life has begun to change. Chapter 192, Dilapidated Shantytown. Early Saturday morning, Lin Yi confirmed that Chu Mengyao and Chen Yashu wouldn't be leaving the house before driving Chen Yashu's yellow beetle to look for Kang Xiaobo. Uncle Fu had already obtained his driver's license and had given it to Lin Yi the day before, so Lin Yi wasn't worried about being hijacked by the police. The two young ladies were at home today, watching a Blu-ray of Su Shihong's concert, the full version of the concert that Lin Yi had bought at the bookstore, so they wouldn't be going out shopping. On his way out, Lin Yi called Kang Xiaobo. These days, the cheapest Nokia phone only costs 100 or 200 yuan, so it's normal for high school students to have a cell phone. Perhaps only Tangyun didn't have one. "Xiaobo, where are you?" Lin Yi asked. I'm at home. I haven't left yet. Boss, are you ready to go? Kang Xiaobo had been looking forward to this day for a week. Dinner at the school beauty's house was a rare honor, so Kang Xiaobo woke up early, waiting for Lin Yi's call. Where's your home? I'll pick you up, Lin Yi asked. You're coming to pick me up? Kang Xiaobo was slightly stunned, not understanding what Lin Yi meant, but still said, my home is on Ningxi Road. Boss, which direction is yours? If it's not on the way, let's meet at the shantytown, Ningxi Road, then wait for me, Lin Yi said and hung up the phone. Chen Yushu's car was equipped with a GPS navigation system. Lin Yi entered Ningxi Road and drove according to the navigation instructions. Ningxi Road was actually on Lin Yi's way to school every day, so it was relatively easy to find. Lin Yi quickly parked the car near Ningxi Road station. Lin Yi called Kang Xiaobo and told him that he was waiting for him at the station. Not long after, Lin Yi saw Kang Xiaobo, dressed very handsomely, running towards the station platform, looking around as he ran, obviously looking for him. Xiaobo, here, Lin Yi opened the passenger door and waved to Kang Xiaobo. Huh? Boss, Kang Xiaobo looked at Lin Yi and his car in surprise, then hurried over. Is this your car? Lin Yi smiled, neither confirming nor denying. Explaining too much about this kind of thing only made it harder, so it was better not to explain at all. Sure enough, Kang Xiaobo, assuming Lin Yi had acquiesced, got in the car. Boss, I didn't expect your family was well off. I thought you came from a poor village. Not bad, Lin Yi said honestly. If those missions were only a few hundred or a few thousand yuan, as his old man had said, then his family would only be okay. If it were at market value, they would have been multimillionaires, billionaires. Of course, Lin Yi didn't want to get too specific with his old man about these things. He was a miser, so what? He had enough to eat and drink anyway, so he could just make some money to support his old age. But boss, why did you buy a car like this? It looks a bit like something a girl would drive, and the seats and the interior, Kang Xiaobo said, gazing into the car. How? Lin Yi chuckled. The car originally belonged to Chen Yushu, so of course it was feminine. Huh? Suddenly, Kang Xiaobo's gaze rested on a pendant on the rearview mirror. Is the photo on that one of Chen Yushu? Boss, are you having a crush on Chen Yushu? Kang Xiaobo's eyes widened as he stared at the pendant, a look of disbelief. It was a small photo frame, and the photo inside was actually of Chen Yushu. Huh? Lin Yi hadn't noticed before. But after Kang Xiaobo's words, he looked at the pendant, and a few frowns formed on his forehead. This pendant belongs to the owner of the car, boss, I understand, Kang Xiaobo chuckled, looking well-knowing. Boss, I'm a man too, I know. It's okay, I won't tell Tang Yun. Lin Yi casually removed the pendant and tossed it into the passenger drawer. Well, hide it quickly, or it won't be good if Tang Yun sees it, Kang Xiaobo nodded in agreement. Lin Yi broke out in a cold sweat after hearing this, nearly crashing his car. Shantytowns, in essence, refer to areas within urban built-up areas characterized by a high density of bungalows, aged buildings, poor quality housing, small per capita floor space, inadequate infrastructure, poor transportation, significant security and fire safety hazards, and a dirty, chaotic, and poorly maintained environment. These shantytowns exist in many developing cities. Of course, shantytowns aren't entirely bungalows, there are some high-rise buildings, but these are typically three-story red brick structures, barely better than bungalows. They lack gas lines, internet access, and even some lack kitchen exhaust ducts. Lin Yi's hometown was mostly filled with these dilapidated structures, so he wasn't surprised to see them. Kang Xiaobo, however, had only passed by the shantytown before and had never been inside. His first glimpse was a complete shock. He hadn't expected Tang Yun to live in such dilapidated conditions. The filthy piles of coal and firewood, the stinking garbage dumps, and the stinking ditches created a truly deplorable environment. Yet, it was in this harsh environment that Tang Yun, the commoner campus beauty of No. 1 middle school, was born. Boss, this environment, Kang Xiaobo couldn't help but roll down the car window, the smell was becoming unbearable. Where I used to live was pretty much the same, Lin Yi laughed, dismissing the situation. He didn't say anything more than that. Even in a battlefield, the conditions were far worse than this. You could hide for days in stinking ditches and swamps. Lin Yi found Kinkeo Hutong and turned in. But once there, driving inside proved difficult. Every house was cluttered with junk. Lin Yi could only park at the entrance of the alley, in a clear spot. The resident stared in surprise at the brightly colored, obviously expensive car. Normally, few cars visited the shantytown. Aside from taxis, few residents could afford cars. Since they could afford them, they'd moved on, having already bought houses in better areas. Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo got out of the car, locked it, and followed the house numbers to Tang Yun's house. The third door should be here. Lin Yi looked at the dilapidated small courtyard gate and sighed slightly. He guessed that Tang Yun's family might be in poor conditions, but in this shantytown, Tang Yun's family's conditions should also be on the lower side. Tang Yun's courtyard gate was obviously much more dilapidated than the others. It must have been a long time since it was repaired. I don't know if it's because they don't have the time or the money. Lin Yi felt a little sad when he saw it, not to mention Kang Xiaobo who was standing beside him. Chapter 193. A photo. Lin Yi knocked on the door. After a moment, footsteps were heard in the yard, followed by Tang Yun's voice. "Who's there?" "It's me," Lin Yi said. There was a noticeable silence inside the courtyard. Then, with a creak, the door swung open, revealing Tang Yun's bright face. There was no smile, but a hint of indifference. "Come in." Lin Yi was slightly startled. Although Tang Yun had previously treated him poorly, she was straightforward and honest, willing to throw little tantrums and step on him. But today, Tang Yun's gaze was filled with indifference. Kang Xiaobo didn't notice this subtle detail. Curious, he followed Lin Yi into Tang Yun's yard. Looking at the messy things in the yard, he pointed in surprise. "Boss, look, there's a cherry tree there." People living in bungalows with yards usually plant something there. In Lin Yi's hometown, almost every household had one, so he wasn't particularly curious. Kang Xiaobo, having grown up in the city, naturally hadn't seen much of these things, so he felt a mixture of excitement and curiosity. "Yuner, are your classmates here?" Tang's mother's voice echoed from the house. It was an old-looking brick house, its exact age impossible to tell. It was built of red brick, with no concrete exterior. The windows were sealed with plastic sheeting, and the door panels were covered in mottled rust. Yet, amidst this dilapidated surroundings, lived a sunny young woman, the common beauty of number 1 middle school. "Yes," Tang Yun replied calmly. Her tone was devoid of any anger or dissatisfaction with Lin Yi, as if she were entertaining a stranger. "Lin Yi is here, please come in." Tang's mother happily emerged from the house, quickly greeting Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo. "Auntie," Lin Yi called, and they entered the house. It was a typical old-fashioned house. Upon entering, there was a small kitchen with a lobby, then a small room within a large room. Inside the small room, there was another small room, which I assumed was Tang Yun's room. "Come in and sit down." Tang's mother ushered Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo inside, then said to Tang Yun, "Yuner, go talk to your classmates while I prepare the barbecue." "Okay," Tang Yun nodded, not objecting, and took a seat across from Lin Yi in the living room. Because the sofa was limited, and Tang Yun didn't want to be squeezed in with Lin Yi, she sat across from him. Tang's mother went out to work, and Tang Yun remained silent, sitting in the chair, her chin resting on her hand, her eyes fixed on the ground, her thoughts unsettled. Lin Yi wondered what had happened to Tang Yun today. Ever since he entered, she'd been acting strangely, like a stranger. Sitting there awkwardly wasn't a big deal, so Lin Yi could only find a new topic to talk about. "Is uncle in the room?" Lin Yi heard noises in the inner room. Although the door was closed, with his hearing, the sound certainly caught his ear. "My dad has a work-related injury and is stuck in bed," Tang Yun explained. "Work injury? Serious?" Lin Yi was startled. He had imagined all sorts of situations for Tang Yun's family, but he hadn't imagined Tang's father actually being injured and bedridden. "I'm saving money for surgery in the second half of the year. If it's successful, I can recover," Tang Yun said calmly, as if speaking to a stranger. "Work injury? Why won't the company pay?" Kang Xiaobo interjected. "The factory owner won't acknowledge it, won't pay." "What can we do?" Tang Yun seemed resigned to her fate. She felt only resignation, not anger, facing the factory owner's denial. "Shall I go see Uncle Tang?" Lin Yi stood up and tried to go into the inner room, but Tang Yun stopped him. "My father's resting." "Don't go." Tang Yun refused to let Lin Yi in. She no longer wanted to have anything to do with Lin Yi, so naturally, she didn't want him inside. If she owed Lin Yi any more favors, how would she repay them? Tang Yun wasn't ignorant of the ways of the world. On the contrary, Her father's case had exposed her and her mother to the fickleness of human nature, giving them a deeper understanding of the world's fickleness. Why should Lin Yi help his family? Besides him, what else in his family did Lin Yi value? In the end, when his family couldn't repay the debt of gratitude, they could only repay it with their own flesh. Lin Yi simply wanted to see the extent of Tang's father's injuries, to see if surgery was unnecessary or if there were easier treatment options. But since Tang Yun objected, Lin Yi wasn't in a rush. Kang Xiaobo didn't want to be a third wheel, so while Lin Yi was talking to Tang Yun, he stood up and walked aside, casually looking at the furnishings and decorations in the room. Suddenly, his eyes fell on a picture on the bookshelf. The photo showed 3 girls, Tang Yun, and another was Tang Yun's best friend, someone named Liu Xinwen, also from number 1 middle school. Kang Xiaobo had some impression of her, but there was another girl who caught his eye. Although Tang Yun was undoubtedly the most beautiful and outstanding of the 3 girls in the photo, the other girl was only slightly inferior. Moreover, her delicate and fragile appearance made her look endearing. Who is this person? Kang Xiaobo's heart began to stir again. He had completely given up on Tang Yun. As long as Lin Yi could catch up with him, he would be content. But this girl. This photo, Kang Xiaobo couldn't help but ask. Tang Yun turned around and saw the photo on the bookshelf. Is it of 2 of my good friends? I know Liu Xinwen, she's also from our school, but this, Kang Xiaobo hesitated. Although he felt it was a bit rude to ask so directly, he still asked with reluctance. Her name is Lan Fen. She's a good friend of mine since childhood. Tang Yun clearly didn't want to talk about it any further. She briefly introduced Lan Fen and said nothing more. Kang Xiaobo said oh and silently memorized the name. Lan Fen, she sounds pretty nice. But where does she go to school now? It's definitely not number 1 middle school. If she was, there's no way he wouldn't know. While Lan Fen wouldn't be one of the top 3 campus beauties, she would definitely be a campus celebrity and among the top 10 girls in number 1 middle school. He wanted to ask about Lan Fen's current situation, but Tang Yun seemed unwilling to talk, so Kang Xiaobo had no choice but to give up. Tang's mother's barbecue was brought in one after another, and the roasted chicken wings exuded an enticing aroma. Tang Yun helped her mother put the barbecue on the table in the living room, and then said to Lin Yi coldly, "Eat it." Chapter 194 The Girl Who Jumped from the Building. Lin Yi, you and your classmates eat first. There's still plenty. Tang's mother gave a few instructions before turning and leaving the room. Mom, I'll go help you. Tang Yun felt a little awkward and oppressed in the room and wanted to go out and keep her company. Yuner, you eat with your classmates, get some drinks, and chat with them. I can handle this myself, Tang's mother smiled. I'm not busy here. I've been busy all over the snack street by myself. How much is it today? Oh, Tang Yun pouted, feeling unhappy. Eat with them? Drink with them? And chat with them? Does that mean I have to accompany them 3 times? Kang Xiaobo had been looking forward to the delicious barbecue, but now he seemed a little distracted. His eyes kept glancing at the photo on the bookshelf, thinking of the girl named Lan Fen. He couldn't help but ask, Tang Yun, why don't you ask Liu Xinwen and Lan Fen to come join us? Kang Xiaobo had put Liu Xinwen first, but it was just a gimmick. His real intention was not to eat with her. Liu Xinwen was a classmate from number 1 middle school, so naturally, they were more familiar. Therefore, Kang Xiaobo prioritized her over Lan Fen, who was actually the main focus. The moment he saw Lan Fen, Kang Xiaobo's blood boiled. He knew he wasn't good enough for Tang Yun, and he had no desire for her, but Lan Fen was something Kang Xiaobo truly yearned for. Tang Yun frowned, unsure of Kang Xiaobo's focus on the people in the photo. I'll treat them to a meal individually. If you want to eat, eat. If not, just sit back, Kang Xiaobo, rebuffed, couldn't help but chuckle. Eat. It smells delicious. Lin Yi could probably guess at Kang Xiaobo's thoughts. He had caught Lan Fen's eye in the photo earlier. She was indeed a beauty, not quite as beautiful as Tang Yun, but still a standout. No wonder Kang Xiaobo was tempted. Lin Yi looked at the barbecue on the table. He had to admit that Tang's mother had a pretty good grasp of the heat. Add in her own ingredients, and it was clear her business was booming. Just as she was about to pick up a bunch to taste, the door was pushed open and a girl rushed in, yelling, Tang Yun, it's bad. Xiaofen is about to jump off the building. Come on, help me talk to her. The person who came in was naturally Tang Yun's best friend Liu Xinwen. She hadn't noticed Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo in the house when she came in, But when she finished speaking, she was shocked to find that there were two other people in the house. Especially when she saw Lin Yi, Liu Xinwen's expression turned a little ugly. She had just finished talking to Tang Yun about Lin Yi a few days ago. Tang Yun solemnly assured her that it had nothing to do with Lin Yi, but in the blink of an eye, Lin Yi appeared in Tang Yun's house. Liu Xinwen sighed. What a silly girl who was blinded by love. She was now a little skeptical of Tang Yun's previous explanation for riding in Lin Yi's car. What? Xiafen is going to jump off the building? Where is she? After hearing Liu Xinwen's words, Tang Yun was also shocked. She stood up and rushed out. It's in the 3-story building in front of their house at the end of the alley, Liu Xinwen said anxiously. Let's go and talk to her. Just then, Tang's mother hurried in. She was grilling when she saw Liu Xinwen rushing into her house in such a hurry. She spoke to her but she didn't hear her before going inside. Naturally, Tang's mother hurried in to see what was going on. At the door, she heard Liu Xinwen's shocking news, and she was terrified. Lanfen was Tang Yun's childhood playmate. She, Liu Xinwen, and the other two had a very close relationship, but then something happened. It had been so long, and the incident should have been over, but suddenly she heard that Lanfen was going to jump from the building. What should they do? Mom, Wenwen and I will go check it out. Tang Yun didn't bother to say anything else, grabbing Liu Xinwen and running out. Hey, be careful, Tang's mother quickly warned. Auntie, what's going on? Lin Yi was confused, but he knew someone was going to jump from the building. Hey, Yun'er's good friend, Lanfen, got hurt a few years ago. I never thought she'd jump off the building now. Tang's mother said this with some worry. No, I have to go check it out too. However, before Tang's mother finished her words, Kang Xiaobo, upon hearing the name Lanfen, was so excited he rushed out the door, chasing Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen. Lin Yi shook his head. No wonder Kang Xiaobo was so nervous. Hey? Lin Yi, your classmate. Kang Xiaobo's actions puzzled Tang's mother. Lin Yi knew why Kang Xiaobo was acting this way, and said, Auntie, let's go check it out too. A large crowd had already gathered in front of the 3-section building at the entrance of the alley, and the scene was a bit noisy. Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen stood outside the crowd, somewhat bewildered. Kang Xiaobo followed closely behind, and when he looked up, he was suddenly shocked. The window on the left side of the 3rd floor was now completely open, and lying on it was a girl in white. It was none other than Lanfen in the photo. Although she looked very haggard, she still had a delicate beauty that made Kang Xiaobo's heart skip a beat. Xiaofen. I'm Liu Xinwen. Wenwen, can you hear me? Liu Xinwen made a trumpet shape with her hands and shouted loudly to the people upstairs. However, Xiaofen on the 3rd floor didn't seem to hear Liu Xinwen's words at all. She looked dazed, with empty eyes staring into the distance, and no one knew what she was thinking. Xiaofen, go back quickly, it's very dangerous. Tang Yun was also very nervous and didn't know what to do. The people watching the excitement in the shanty town basically knew that Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen were Xiaofen's best friends, and the onlookers automatically made way for Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen to go forward. When she got closer, she saw Lanfen's mother Song Huping standing there anxiously, a little at a loss, tears in her eyes, looking at Xiaofen upstairs, shouting her name at the top of her lungs, but Xiaofen ignored her. Aunt Song, Xiaofen, Tang Yun asked hurriedly when she saw Song Huping. Ah, Tang Yun, Liu Xinwen, you are here, hurry up and persuade Xiaofen. I don't know what happened. She locked herself in the house and wanted to jump off the building. Her father went upstairs but couldn't open the door. He is contacting the people from the locksmith company. Although Song Huping was anxious, she still placed her hopes on Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen. Lin Yi and Kang Xiaobo also squeezed over. Kang Xiaobo looked even more anxious than Tang Yun and the others, with beads of sweat on his forehead. Boss, what should we do? What should we do? Lin Yi ignored Kang Xiaobo's words and looked up at Lanfen upstairs. At this height, he was completely confident that he could climb up from the side and bring her down without being noticed. But that would also expose his skills. Chapter 195 Striking Similarity. Don't jump, don't jump. What's so bad about you? You're still young and have a wonderful youth ahead of you. Kang Xiaobo didn't know why he was so excited that he almost jumped up, and his voice was surprisingly loud, as if he had a megaphone in his mouth. Kang Xiaobo's voice was much louder than Tang Yun, Liu Xinwen, and Song Huping's voices before, and it seemed particularly abrupt in the noisy crowd. This time, the sound caught the attention of Lanfen on the 3rd floor. Lan Fen lowered her head with a dazed look and looked towards the source of the sound. As soon as she saw it, an incredible look appeared on her face, and her eyes lit up slightly. She became very excited and muttered to herself. Although the sound was not loud, people who were close to her downstairs could still hear it clearly. Xiaoming, is that you? You finally came to see me. A smile of joy and satisfaction crossed Lan Fen's lips. You came to see me. You really haven't abandoned me, Xiaoming. Kang Xiaobo was a little confused. He didn't quite understand what Lan Fen meant and looked at Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen in confusion. Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen were also puzzled, thinking Lan Fen was hallucinating. But suddenly turning around and seeing Kang Xiaobo's face, Tang Yun couldn't help but cry out in surprise. When at that Kang Xiaoming, Tang Yun had felt that Kang Xiaobo looked familiar before, but she hadn't paid much attention to it. Lin Yi didn't seem to be a good person at all. He must have been a bad student who got into fights in school. So seeing him as familiar, perhaps because she had seen him doing something bad before, Tang Yun didn't think much of it. But today, after hearing Lan Fen's words and looking at Kang Xiaobo's face, Tang Yun had to admit, they looked alike. They looked so alike. Although it is difficult to connect the two people if you don't think about it that way, but now just compare Kang Xiaobo with the previous Kang Xiaoming. Although the two people's facial contours, noses, and mouths cannot be said to be exactly the same, they are surprisingly similar. Oh no. Lan Fen wouldn't mistake him for Kang Xiaoming, would she? Don't let anything go wrong. Liu Xinwen was also shocked. Why are there so many coincidences in the world? At this moment, a boy who looks very similar to Kang Xiaoming appeared at the scene where Lan Fen jumped off the building. Kang Xiaoming, Kang Xiaobo guessed something from Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen's words. Lan Fen must have been hurt emotionally, otherwise she wouldn't have said those inexplicable words before. However, the name Kang Xiaoming was like a sharp sword that pierced Kang Xiaobo's heart. His face instantly became a little distorted, his hands clenched into fists, and even his breathing became a little rapid. You said she mistook me for Kang Xiaoming. Yeah, you look like the man who abandoned Xiaofan. Are you a relative of his? Liu Xinwen didn't notice that Kang Xiaobo's expression was abnormal, and thought he was confused, so she didn't hesitate to speak. Get out of the way first, your face is wearing the same clothes as the other man. Relatives. Kang Xiaoming's eyes flashed with a ferocious look, and he silently repeated these three words. Liu Xinwen was right. Kang Xiaoming was a relative of Kang Xiaobo's. He was the grandson of his great-grandfather's lineage, and in fact, his second cousin. What are you mumbling about here? Why don't you hide? Don't let anything happen to you. Liu Xinwen frowned, not hearing Kang Xiaobo's words clearly. Kang Xiaobo felt a wave of bitterness and anger. Was she abandoned by her second cousin Kang Xiaoming? Such a good girl, was she forced to jump off a building? Just as Kang Xiaobo was stunned, Lan Fen on the third floor suddenly smiled with happiness and satisfaction. Brother Xiaoming, I'm here. Wait for me. Tang Yun, Liu Xinwen, and Song Huping secretly thought to themselves, oh no, Lan Fen's mood was very strange. Was she having some kind of mental breakdown? Xiao Fen, Tang Yun subconsciously called out nervously, but before she could finish, a white shadow quickly fell down. Xiao Fen, Song Huping screamed at the top of her lungs, and Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen were also terrified and at a loss for words. Unexpectedly, Lan Fen jumped down the building without any warning. Lan Fen, Kang Xiaobo rushed up in one step, trying to catch the falling Lan Fen. However, no matter his speed or judgment, he could not accurately judge the position where Lan Fen fell. Lin Yi sighed secretly, chased after her, and quickly pushed Kang Xiaobo to find the correct position. However, under the current circumstances, no one would deliberately notice these subtle changes. Lin Yi did it very secretly, and people who saw him would only think that he came with Kang Xiaobo to rescue people, and would not think of anything else. In the battlefield full of bullets and gunfire, sneak attacks from the enemy are hard to guard against. If you can't judge the position correctly, you can hardly get out alive. The moment Xiaofan fell to the ground, Lin Yi pretended to rush forward nervously, but pushed Kang Xiaobo's arm, grabbed his arm, and caught Xiaofan. At Xiaofan's speed and height, a person without professional training wouldn't be able to withstand the force of the fall. They'd likely drop her again after catching her. While there's a buffer, it could still easily result in casualties. Therefore, Lin Yi could only help Kang Xiaobo once. This buddy, who had been following him around and calling him boss since he transferred, Lin Yi didn't mind saving him just once. However, once Kang Xiaobo had safely caught Xiaofan, Lin Yi calmly released his arm. Kang Xiaobo was likely barely aware of the tension in the moment. In such a state, his mind would be filled with anxiety, his thoughts in a turmoil. Even if he later recalled something wrong, it wouldn't be clearly remembered. Xiaofan, Tang Yun, Liu Xinwen, Song Huping, and the crowd of onlookers from the shantytown gathered around. Seeing Kang Xiaobo actually catch Xiaofan, they were both relieved and surprised. Kang Xiaobo actually caught Xiaofan? Because the incident happened suddenly, even though the police had been called, it would still take some time for the police and fire department to arrive. It had only been 10 minutes, and Xiaofan had unexpectedly jumped down. Xiaofan, how are you? Don't scare Mom. Are you okay? Song Huping was the first to rush over, trying to snatch Xiaofan from Kang Xiaobo's arms. However, Kang Xiaobo was also stunned at the moment and held Xiaofan tightly. Before Xiaofan fell, the only thought in his mind was that he must hold Xiaofan and not let her get hurt. Now that he was holding her, he subconsciously held her tightly and naturally would not let go easily. Chapter 196, Kang Xiaobo excited. By this time, Lin Yi had already quietly slipped aside, leaving Kang Xiaobo to play the hero and rescue the damsel in distress. Lan Fan, perhaps frightened from falling from such a height, or perhaps because Kang Xiaobo held her too tightly, had already passed out. Song Huping felt Lan Fan's nose and breathed a sigh of relief when she found she was still breathing. Huh? Liu Xinwen saw that Xiaofan was fine, just fainted, and gave Kang Xiaobo a thumbs up. Amazing, hero. You were able to catch someone from such a height, amazing. After hearing Liu Xinwen's words, Song Huping realized that the young man in front of her was her daughter's savior. Touching her daughter's emaciated cheek, she thanked Kang Xiaobo profusely. Thank you so much, young man. If it weren't for your quick hands and eyes, my Xiaofan wouldn't have known. At this point, Song Huping burst into tears of fear. Yes, just thinking about the situation just now was terrifying. Her daughter fell from the sky. If Kang Xiaobo hadn't caught her, the consequences of this fall would have been disastrous. Auntie, this is what I should do. It's nothing. Kang Xiaobo's face flushed slightly. He saved Lan Fan purely out of his admiration for Lan Fan. If it were someone else, he might not be so excited and nervous. Kang Xiaobo is not a saint. He is not a firefighter, nor a policeman, nor Ultraman. If the person who jumped from the building was not Lan Fan, he would not rush over rashly. Let's not talk about whether he can be rescued or not. Don't let the person be rescued, and instead get yourself injured or killed. That would be a loss. This kind of thing has happened before. Someone saw someone jumping from a building and wanted to catch him. As a result, he didn't catch him, but was killed by the person falling from the building. Isn't this a big deal? Brother, you are awesome. I, Liu Xinwen, admire you. Liu Xinwen didn't notice Kang Xiaobo's expression. She patted Kang Xiaobo's shoulder excitedly. If you have any problems in the future, find me. It's my duty. I just happened to be there. Kang Xiaobo was telling the truth. He himself didn't know how he caught Lan Fan. Was it a coincidence? Tang Yun glanced thoughtfully at Lin Yi, who had now slipped aside, her lips curled up slightly. What a strange man. No one else noticed anything, but the attentive Tang Yun noticed something. When Kang Xiaobo had rescued the girl, Lin Yi had rushed over too, but instead of picking her up, he had been pushing and shoving Kang Xiaobo. This made Tang Yun suspicious. Did he have anything to do with the rescue? Tang Yun didn't know why she was so focused on Lin Yi. With mixed feelings, she turned her gaze away from him and focused on Xiaofan. A shrill sirens blared from afar. The cacophony of sirens from ambulances, police cars, and fire trucks approached the alley. However, upon learning that the girl had jumped and been caught, the firefighters, though somewhat surprised, inquired about the situation and then left. The police did take statements from several onlookers at the scene, understanding the circumstances of the incident. They could only express sympathy for Lan Fan's plight. Knowing she hadn't jumped from the building out of injustice, the police couldn't intervene. After all, while Kang Xiaoming's abandonment of Lan Fan was somewhat unkind, it was merely a matter of emotional entanglement and didn't rise to the level of a criminal offense. Several nurses in the ambulance took Lan Fan from Kang Xiaobo's arms, placed her on a stretcher, and loaded her into the ambulance. Then, a middle-aged man who looked like a doctor on duty addressed the crowd, Anyone here who's a family member of the patient? Come aboard and take us to the hospital. Everyone else, please disperse. I'm Xiao Fen's mother. Song Huping stepped forward and said to the doctor. The doctor glanced at her and nodded, then come aboard with us. Song Huping quickly followed the doctor into the ambulance, but Li Xinwen, Tang Yun, and especially Kang Xiaobo, wanted to go too, so they joined the group. We're her friends, can we go too? Liu Xinwen said to the doctor. No, this is an ambulance. There aren't enough seats, and there's still room for one more family member. Who's going to get in? The doctor explained, shaking his head. Before Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen could say anything, a hurried, excited voice rang out. They looked and saw it was Kang Xiaobo. Without a word, Kang Xiaobo rushed for the ambulance. Lin Yi, with a wry smile, pulled him back. Lin Yi understood his feelings, but what was the point of him rushing in? How could he explain his relationship with Xiaofan to Song Huping? He couldn't just say they just met today, right? They hadn't even met before, it was just love at first sight. Liu Xinwen, follow the car, Lin Yi said, pulling Kang Xiaobo behind him. Boss, please let me get in, please. Kang Xiaobo's expression was agitated, as if he wouldn't give up until he was allowed in. Xiaobo, Lin Yi was speechless. Why are you going up now? Why don't you just take my car and we'll just follow? Yeah, that's right. Kang Xiaobo finally calmed down and nodded sheepishly. Lin Yi's words had dawned on him. Indeed, if he followed the car now, how would he explain it to Xiaofan's mother, Song Huping? Liu Xinwen and Tang Yun both glanced at Kang Xiaobo in surprise. Tang Yun had a vague suspicion, because when Kang Xiaobo had been at her house before, he had seemed quite preoccupied with Lanfan in the photo. But Liu Xinwen was a bit confused, unsure what was wrong with Kang Xiaobo. But now was no time for further questions. The ambulance was still waiting, so Liu Xinwen could only quickly jump in, close the door, and sped off to the First People's Hospital. Are you going? Lin Yi waited for the ambulance to leave, then turned to Tang Yun and asked. Tang Yun bit her lip. Although she didn't really want to get in Lin Yi's car, she was worried about Xiaofan, so she nodded. Yeah, the Beetle's back seat didn't have a door, so you could only get in by folding down the front seats, which was rather inconvenient. However, although Kang Xiaobo was worried about Xiaofan, he still made sure to create an opportunity for Lin Yi and Tang Yun. He gave the front seat to Tang Yun and got on the back himself. Lin Yi had been to the First People's Hospital before. He had changed the dressing there when he injured his leg last time, so he didn't need to follow the ambulance. Lin Yi could find it himself, and at the very least, he had GPS navigation, so he wouldn't get lost. Tang Yun, can you tell me about Lan Fen? Kang Xiaobo was very curious about Lan Fen and Kang Xiaoming's affairs, and was eager to know the truth. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197 Sad Past. Tang Yun pursed her lips and wanted to speak, but she felt that it was not good to talk about others behind their backs. It was really not right to talk about Xiaofan's things behind her back without her consent. Tang Yun, don't you see what Kang Xiaobo is thinking? Talk to him. Lin Yi was driving, but he was paying attention to Tang Yun and Kang Xiaobo. Seeing Tang Yun hesitate, he naturally knew what she was thinking. But Tang Yun hesitated. Of course, she could see what Kang Xiaobo was thinking. If Kang Xiaobo could stay with Xiaofan, then Xiaofan might be able to get better. But Xiaofan's life experience was a bit tragic. If she told it herself, would Kang Xiaobo be able to accept it? Don't say but. If you say but again, Kang Xiaobo will be worried to death, Lin Yi said with a smile. Tang Yun sighed and began to talk quietly. Xiaofan, Liu Xinwen, and I grew up together in the shanty towns. We were very close, but in the third year of junior high, a boy intruded into Xiaofan's life, Kang Xiaoming. Kang Xiaobo clenched his fists, his face slightly changing. He'd guessed it, but he just wanted to confirm it with Tang Yun. Standing in front, unable to see Kang Xiaobo's expression, Tang Yun didn't notice his unusual behavior. Yes, it's Kang Xiaoming. I didn't expect you to remember that name. Tang Yun had only mentioned Kang Xiaoming to Liu Xinwen once before, but she hadn't expected Kang Xiaobo to have such a good memory. It seemed he truly cared about Xiaofan. As Xiaofen's best friend, Tang Yun naturally hoped that Xiaofen would recover quickly and stop living in depression. She had consulted a doctor at the time, but he said Xiaofen had a mental illness and that if she wanted to recover, she'd best start a new relationship and move on from the past. Although Tang Yun didn't support premature love, she did offer special treatment for special circumstances. If Kang Xiaobo and Xiaofen could truly be together, that was something she'd love to see. However, once Kang Xiaobo knew Xiaofen's specific situation, it might. Lin Yi caught sight of Kang Xiaobo's furious expression in the rearview mirror and felt something was amiss. Kang Xiaoming has been passionately pursuing Xiaofen. Tang Yun couldn't help but glance at Lin Yi. Kang Xiaoming comes from a wealthy family and is well off. At school, he's a regal young master who commands the attention of everyone. Xiaofen was young and naive, and she fell for him. Lin Yi gave a wry smile. Why are you glaring at me? I'm not a regal young master. Besides, I haven't even started pursuing you yet. All that was just a misunderstanding. So, they got together, Tang Yun continued. At the beginning, the relationship between the two was pretty good, but later, Kang Xiaoming became more and more distant from Xiaofen. Xiaofen asked him what was going on, but he proposed to break up with Xiaofen. Of course Xiaofen would not agree. At that time, she had already fallen deeply in love with Kang Xiaoming and had that relationship with him. At this point, Tang Yun's face flushed slightly. Although she was 18 years old and considered an adult, Tang Yun was still a girl after all. She was still shy when talking about such things. She went to find Kang Xiaoming to find out, but saw that Kang Xiaoming got into a taxi with another beautiful woman. Xiaofen chased the taxi unwillingly, shouting Kang Xiaoming's name, but Kang Xiaoming just turned around and looked at him coldly, and did not let the taxi driver stop. Liu Xinwan and I wanted to call Xiaofen from behind, but she didn't listen and insisted on chasing the taxi. As a result, at this moment, a large truck drove over and knocked Xiaofen down. Even so, Kang Xiaoming didn't get out of the car to see Xiaofen, and just left. But after a few days, he transferred to another school and never showed up again. Xiaofen's legs were also disabled. From then on, she could only limp and could not walk for a long time. She usually had to use a wheelchair. After this incident, Xiaofen also dropped out of school and stayed at home in a trance every day. Kang Xiaoming treated her like this, but she still couldn't forget it, and fantasized that Kang Xiaoming could change his mind. Oh, Wenwan and I persuaded her many times, but she just wouldn't listen. Fuck. Kang Xiaobo punched the roof of the carport, his face flushed, his chest heaving, obviously very angry. Kang Xiaoming, you bastard, the car is not mine, I borrowed it. Lin Yi was sweating, looking at the carport that was dented by Kang Xiaobo. He was speechless. Chen Xiaoyu wouldn't kill himself, would he? It's too fucking. After hearing what Lin Yi said, Tang Yun suddenly looked down on him. Your brother is so angry, and you still feel sorry for the car? You're such a rich young master, why would you care about such a small repair bill? Kang Xiaobo seemed oblivious to Lin Yi's words, still hammering away at the roof of the carport. Lin Yi felt like crying, but there were no tears left. This kid was incredibly strong when he exploded. He had to get Uncle Fu to fix the car when he got back. He couldn't let Chen Xiaoyu see him, or he'd be dead. She probably wouldn't lend him her car again. But what should he say to Uncle Fu? Well, he could just say he had been attacked by Chu Pengzhan's enemies. He was there the other day when he was talking about those two unfortunate yellow rank masters. He could just say it was Li Chihu's men who did it. Haha, he was such a genius, Lin Yi thought. Kang Xiaobo was consumed by a wave of indignation. He imagined a fragile young woman stumbling behind a taxi, staring hopelessly at the man and the beautiful woman in it. She screamed at the top of her lungs to stop the man in the taxi, but there was nothing she could do. Just as her heart was breaking, a truck drove up and hit her. But the man in the taxi was so cold-blooded that he didn't even get out of the car and just left. And Xiaofen, lying in a pool of blood, was still thinking about that hateful man. Kang Xiaoming. Kang Xiaobo's face became distorted. If it was another person, Kang Xiaobo would not be so cruel, but this person was his second cousin, the second cousin who looked down on him and laughed at his family since he was a child. Kang Xiaobo breathed a sigh of relief, and looked at the dented roof that he had smashed with a bit of embarrassment. Boss, I'm a little excited. Forget it, it's nothing. Lin Yi had already thought of a solution. He smiled and said to Kang Xiaobo, Xiaobo, what do you think? The question Lin Yi asked was actually the question Tang Yun wanted to ask. After she finished explaining Xiaofen's situation, she waited for Kang Xiaobo's reply. Xiaofen is no longer perfect. This matter can be big or small. If Kang Xiaobo doesn't mind too much, it can be covered up. The most critical question is Xiaofen's legs. Will Kang Xiaobo accept a disabled person? Chapter 198 Tang Yun's concern. Boss, I want to try to get in touch with Xiaofen, Kang Xiaobo said after a moment's hesitation. This was the first girl that moved him so much. Although they had only been together for a few hours, Xiaofen's appearance had already been deeply engraved in his heart. His previous feelings towards Tang Yun, Chu Mengyao, and Shen Yushu were just admiration and love. He knew it was impossible, but he just fantasized about it. To put it bluntly, it was spring fever. But it was different with Lanfen. Kang Xiaobo didn't know what love at first sight was. He just had a good impression of her the moment he saw Lanfen's photo. Especially when he saw the thin and weak figure on the third-floor windowsill, slowly falling from above. For a moment, Kang Xiaobo's heart seemed to be broken. After listening to Tang Yun's story about Xiaofen's life, Kang Xiaobo felt a little more pity for this poor girl, but now he was probably also feeling impulsive. This was an impulsive act without considering the consequences. If he calmed down, he might change. Of course, Lin Yi also understood Kang Xiaobo's mood at the moment. He nodded and said nothing. Let's talk about it when we get to the hospital. Tang Yun also noticed Kang Xiaobo's hesitation. She sighed and said nothing. At the end, she glared at Lin Yi fiercely. You young masters are just harming girls, me. Lin Yi was stunned. I'm not a young master, am I? Tang Yun curled her lips and ignored him. After Kang Xiaobo was angry, he looked very depressed. He kept his head down in the back, and no one knew what he was thinking. Lin Yi parked the car in the parking lot of the First People's Hospital, and then the three of them got out of the car and went straight to the emergency room. After consulting the doctor on duty in the emergency room, Kang Xiaobo took the lead. Doctor, how is Lanfen? Lanfen. The girl who just jumped from the building. The doctor flipped through notes on the desk and said, Lanfen is fine. She's simply passed out from exhaustion and shock. She's been wheeled to the ward and is receiving an IV drip in emergency room 6. But she may need to be hospitalized for observation. Who are you to her? We're her friends. Thank you, doctor, Kang Xiaobo said, and was about to go find Lanfen. Wait, you guys take care of the medical bills and hospitalization paperwork first. Lanfen's family only paid a 300 yuan deposit, which is not enough. The doctor stopped Kang Xiaobo. Huh? Okay, we'll do it right away, Kang Xiaobo agreed without hesitation. Where? She needs to be hospitalized for observation. She's in very poor condition and very weak. She'll stay for a week. I'll get you the paperwork, the doctor said. Okay, Kang Xiaobo nodded repeatedly. Now he followed the doctor's orders. Lin Yi smiled wryly. Was Kang Xiaobo truly attracted to Lanfen? It was a bit dramatic, but this was an age filled with drama. A touch of pure love between a boy and a girl, a persistent and impulsive one. Was this Kang Xiaobo's first love? A man in his first love is always impulsive, ready to risk everything, impulsive. But after calming down, would he continue to date Lanfen? He glanced at Tang Yun, only to find that she was still glaring at him with a grumpiness. What's wrong? Lin Yi was puzzled by Tang Yun's attitude today. Before, she had been indifferent, but after getting in the car, she seemed to have reverted to her old self, full of resentment towards him. Watching Kang Xiaobo pick up the hospitalization form and head off to pay, Tang Yun turned to Lin Yi and said, "A question, huh?" Lin Yi was stunned, looking at Tang Yun with some confusion. "What are you thinking?" Tang Yun bit her lip and lowered her head in embarrassment as she asked. "What do you think?" Lin Yi didn't understand. Xiaofen and Kang Xiaobo. "It depends on Kang Xiaobo's opinion. I'm not talking about him, I'm talking about you." Tang Yun raised her head and looked at Lin Yi. "That night, I asked you something. Do you want to make friends with him?" Lin Yi didn't expect Tang Yun was still entangled in this matter, but nodded. Since he had talked to the old man at home and planned to stay here for a long time, there was no need to worry about it. "So, do you just want to have fun, or will you stay with me forever?" Tang Yun frowned, looking at Lin Yi and saying word by word, "Lin Yi, if you just want to have fun, can you please stay away from me, my mother, and my whole family? I'm not Xiaofen." She was young and naive back then, But I'm 18 years old now and won't fall for your tricks. Lin Yi was speechless for a moment. He didn't expect Tang Yun to ask such a question. What am I playing for? How can I have so much free time to play? Do you think I'm playing? Okay. If you don't want to have fun and want to be with me, then please don't bother me for a while, okay? Let me get into college peacefully. I don't want to be distracted at this time. Tang Yun's delicate face was filled with a hint of stubbornness. If you still want to be friends with me then, I'll agree. Tang Yun's showdown with Lin Yi today was actually the result of several days of thinking. Tang Yun herself didn't know exactly how she felt about Lin Yi. She only knew that he had helped her family a lot and she owed him too many favors. But Tang Yun naturally wouldn't date Lin Yi out of gratitude or anything like that. It was undeniable that Tang Yun's heart was growing increasingly receptive to this man who had suddenly intruded into her life. Feeling a little panicked, Tang Yun put on a cold, indifferent face towards Lin Yi. She was afraid she'd fallen too deeply in love. Although she denied any tendency toward premature love, her previous resentment towards Lin Yi had waned, replaced by a sense of gratitude and an inexplicable thrill. Especially after Liu Xinwen questioned her about Lin Yi, Tang Yun's heart hadn't been at peace. She even dreamed about him at night. The most infuriating thing was that she dreamt of kissing him. Although the dream was somewhat baffling and unreal, a bit illusory, and Lin Yi's face wasn't clear in the dream, Tang Yun, startled awake, knew it was Lin Yi. She'd actually had a wet dream, and the object of her first wet dream was, surprisingly, Lin Yi. Tang Yun knew, of course, that erotic dreams were normal during adolescence, and that the dream partner was often someone she had feelings for in real life. This was something she'd read in her physiology and hygiene textbook. However, the more she thought about it, the more panic she felt. She was terrified that she might develop feelings for Lin Yi and end up with him. However, her rationality told her that this was a dangerous situation, and she absolutely couldn't get too deeply involved. Otherwise, she might end up like Xiafen. Chapter 199 Picked up wallet. So, with no other options left, Tang Yun chose to confront Lin Yi. She needed to make things clear with him. Otherwise, what was the point of him constantly showing up at her house? If Lin Yi was just playing around, then she'd tell him to leave her alone and stop pestering her. If he was serious, Tang Yun had set a deadline, after the Gaokao. Firstly, this would allow her to focus on studying for the exam without being distracted by other matters. Secondly, it was a test for Lin Yi. If he was just playing around, he wouldn't have the patience to wait a few months until after the Gaokao and would surely have moved on. If Lin Yi really waited until after the Gaokao, then giving him a chance wouldn't be a bad idea. College was a haven for romance, and Tang Yun, despite being a well-behaved girl, yearned for a romantic encounter. Lin Yi hadn't expected Tang Yun to say such a thing. Was it a rejection, or an acceptance? A playful embrace? Just as Lin Yi was about to say something, Tang Yun turned and drifted off in Kang Xiaobo's direction. Lin Yi hurried after her. Tang Yun had regained her composure. It was as if she hadn't said the words just now. She was still the same Tang Yun, only with a hint of shyness between her features, making her appear even more delicate and charming, which made Lin Yi's heart flutter. Arriving at the hospital's payment window, he saw Kang Xiaobo standing there blankly, staring blankly at the bill. Lin Yi asked, "Xiaobo? Have you finished the paperwork, boss? The deposit is 10,000 yuan, and I don't have enough," Kang Xiaobo said, a little embarrassed. He had been the one who had rushed over with the bill, only to find he didn't have the money. Oh, Lin Yi was stunned for a moment, then looked at Tang Yun. "Isn't Xiafen's mother here? Xiafen's family isn't much better off than mine. We've spent a fortune on Xiafen's medical treatment over the years, and we're even in debt. How can we have any spare money?" Tang Yun sighed. "Would you be willing to pay for it first? I promise Xiafen's family will pay you back later." Lin Yi wasn't one to meddle in other people's affairs. He never cared about people who had nothing to do with him, but Xiafen was different. After all, she was someone Kang Xiaobo loved, so Lin Yi naturally wanted to help her if he could. However, Lin Yi never brought the credit card Uncle Fu had given him with him. He didn't spend much, so he just tossed it in a drawer at home. Now, besides the 1,000 yuan reward he had received from Sun Jinggai, he had Wu Chenshin's wallet. Lin Yi first gave the 1,000 yuan to Kang Xiaobo, then opened Wu Chenshin's wallet. Wu Chenshin's wallet held about 3 to 5,000 RMB. The rest was US dollars, but in larger denominations, ranging from 500 to 1,000. These US dollars were essentially no longer in circulation and no longer issued, but they were not invalidated. Instead, they were kept as collectibles, as the price of a single note exceeded its face value, and no one would spend them. Wu Chenshin's large US dollar bills in his wallet were clearly not for spending, but for show. Lin Yi had seen a few such people before, and this also suggested the Wu family was quite powerful. Lin Yi handed all the RMB in his wallet to Kang Xiaobo. "Can you ask if US dollars are acceptable?" Kang Xiaobo gratefully accepted the bills from Lin Yi and ran to the cashier's window. "Excuse me, are US dollars acceptable?" "Yes. But only for a deposit, not for payment. Final payment must be in RMB," the staff member said. "Okay, thank you." Kang Xiaobo breathed a sigh of relief and ran to Lin Yi's side. "Boss, US dollars are fine, but it's just a deposit, not payment." "Okay, go ahead and pay." Lin Yi handed all the $100 bills in his wallet to Kang Xiaobo. As for the $500 and $1,000 bills, the cashier might not recognize them and might think they were counterfeit. "I didn't realize you were quite wealthy." With US dollars, Tang Yun gave Lin Yi a teasing look. He hadn't admitted to being a rich young master before. How could someone other than a rich young master have so much money? "Oh, you mean this wallet? You found it?" Lin Yi shrugged. "Found it?" Tang Yun was stunned, then a little annoyed. Did he think she was stupid? Where could he find it? Why couldn't he find it? "If you don't believe me, look at the ID card inside." Lin Yi pulled out Wu Chenshin's ID card and waved it in front of Tang Yun's eyes. "Huh?" Tang Yun's eyes widened in disbelief. This wallet really wasn't Lin Yi's? Had he really found it? Did you really pick it up? Then how dare you spend the money inside? "Didn't you ask me to pay for it first?" Lin Yi stuffed his ID card back and casually put the wallet into his trouser pocket. Tang Yun didn't know what to say. "If you don't give it to the owner, how anxious will he be?" "Oh, the owner is not anxious." Lin Yi smiled. "He gave it to me. Will Wu Chenshin be anxious? Let him be anxious." Lin Yi is not afraid of what Wu Chenshin will do. In the final analysis, Wu Chenshin can only suffer in silence. He stole his wallet first, and then he took his wallet. Even if he called the police, he would not get any benefit. What's more, would he dare to call the police? The Wu family he belongs to should be a big family, right? Can they afford to lose this person? So Lin Yi simply didn't care. What's the big deal about spending his money? It's good enough that he didn't blackmail him for a hush money. "A gift for you." Tang Yun clearly didn't believe Lin Yi's words, but since he'd said that, she couldn't say anything else. Although Tang Yun disapproved of Lin Yi's actions, she had her reasons. Xiaofen urgently needed the hospital fees. Tang Yun knew full well that if the medical bills weren't paid today, she'd likely be kicked out of the hospital after Xiaofen finished her IV. After all, the hospital wasn't a charity. They wouldn't let you stay there for free without money. "Boss, thank you. I'll definitely pay you back." Kang Xiaobo excitedly ran back, holding the payment receipt, thanking Lin Yi profusely. Kang Xiaobo was truly touched. He felt that the title of boss was not in vain. Who else would have given so much money without hesitation? What? Just a small amount? Forget it. Lin Yi didn't expect Kang Xiaobo to pay him back, let alone Xiaofen's family. If Xiaofen and Kang Xiaobo were truly meant to be together, then why would Lin Yi, the boss, really need such a small amount? "Boss," Kang Xiaobo wanted to say something, but was interrupted by Lin Yi's wave of his hand. "Let's go to the ward," Lin Yi said. Yes. Let's go to the ward." Kang Xiaobo nodded and gave Lin Yi a grateful look. Chapter 200 Xiaofen's illness. Arriving at Ward 6, as the doctor had mentioned, they saw Song Huping and Liu Xinwen sitting by the innermost bed. This was a 4-person ward, and the other 3 beds also had patients receiving IV drips. Kang Xiaobo ignored Song Huping's strange look and rushed over. Seeing Lan Fen lying in bed unharmed, he breathed a sigh of relief. Although he had heard from the doctor that Lan Fen was fine, Kang Xiaobo was still a little worried because he hadn't seen it with his own eyes. "Yunayan, you're here," Liu Xinwen greeted Tang Yun as she saw her. Her gaze stopped at Lin Yi, who was beside Tang Yun, and a hint of amusement flashed in her eyes. "Well, Wenwen, how's Xiaofen?" Tang Yun felt a little uncomfortable under Liu Xinwen's gaze. She moved to the side, putting some distance between herself and Lin Yi. "Xiaofen isn't seriously ill, but the doctor says she's too weak to stay in the hospital for observation. she'll need a 10,000 yuan deposit for the hospitalization fee, Liu Xinwen said in a low voice, approaching. But Xiao Fen's family situation is well known to you and me. Can we help her out? I'll have Lin Yi cover that first, Tang Yun said, feeling a little uneasy. Liu Xinwen had already misunderstood her relationship with Lin Yi. Now, wouldn't this further prove their connection? Otherwise, why would she expect him to pay 10,000 yuan for Xiao Fen's hospitalization? Lin Yi, as expected, Liu Xinwen gave Lin Yi a surprised look. Yun, you and him, it's not what you think. I've already laid it out with him. I'll tell you when I have time. For now, let's look at Xiao Fen's situation, Tang Yun explained softly. Oh, Liu Xinwen naturally didn't believe Tang Yun's words. Judging from her behavior, it seemed like she was in a premature relationship. Did she learn from Xiao Fen's lesson? And why was she still going through with it? It seemed like all he could do was keep a close eye on Tang Yun from the sidelines, making sure she didn't get on Lin Yi's bandwagon. Kang Xiaobo rushed to Xiao Fen's bedside without giving it much thought. He just wanted to see her, but after rushing over, he didn't know what to do next. He wanted to touch Xiao Fen's forehead, but didn't dare. Classmate, who are you? Song Huping had never seen Kang Xiaobo before, and she was a little confused by the sudden appearance today of her daughter's savior, who was clearly a bit overly enthusiastic. Auntie, my name is Kang Xiaobo. Kang Xiaobo introduced himself a little embarrassedly. I am a classmate of Tang Yun and Liu Xinwen. Oh, thank you so much for what happened today. If it weren't for you, Xiao Fen wouldn't know. Speaking of this, Song Huping remembered the thrilling situation at that time, and couldn't help crying. This child has a miserable life. Auntie, don't be excited. Isn't Xiao Fen fine now? Seeing Song Huping burst into tears while talking, Kang Xiaobo was a little at a loss, and hurriedly persuaded, Auntie, everything is over, don't be sad. Oh, yes, it's all over. Song Huping nodded and stood up. Young man, Tang Yun, Liu Xinwen, please help Auntie take care of Xiao Fen. Auntie has to go back to raise money. The doctor has just said that you have to pay 10,000 yuan for hospitalization fees. Auntie, no need, I have already paid it, Kang Xiaobo said hurriedly and handed the bill to Song Huping. Ah, Song Huping was stunned. She took the bill with some surprise and saw that it said 6,000 RMB and $10 as a deposit. No matter how stupid Song Huping was, she felt something was wrong at this moment. Kang Xiaobo not only saved his daughter, but also ran around so much and paid the deposit. If she said that Kang Xiaobo was just enthusiastic, Song Huping would not believe it. Child, you? Song Huping took the bill with some trembling and looked at the amount on it. So much money, you? Kang Xiaobo felt a little embarrassed by Song Huping's look, and hurriedly explained, Auntie, this was paid for by my eldest brother first. Your eldest brother? Song Huping was a little puzzled. Why did another eldest brother appear? Aunt Song, my classmate Lin Yi paid for the medical expenses, Tang Yun could only explain. That's him. Lin Yi was pushed forward and could only greet Song Huping. Hello, Auntie. This time, Song Huping was a little confused. She had originally thought Kang Xiaobo had some feelings for her daughter, but she wasn't sure. Now, she heard that Lin Yi had paid for her daughter's hospitalization. Who is this Lin Yi? Young man, Song Huping looked at Lin Yi with some confusion. Lin Yi had been silent before, so Song Huping naturally ignored him. Now, she saw someone who had no connection with her family paying for her family's medical expenses. What was the reason? Hey, Auntie, I'm Tang Yun's good friend, Lin Yi said in a somewhat ambiguous tone, feeling a little malicious. Oh, Song Huping really had misunderstood. She had misunderstood the relationship between Lin Yi and Tang Yun. If Lin Yi was just an ordinary friend of Tang Yun, why would he pay for the medical expenses of Tang Yun's friend? Tang Yun also heard the ambiguity in Lin Yi's words and glared at him, a little annoyed. This guy was really taking advantage of her. He had already laid his cards on the table with him, but he was still pushing it further. However, in this situation, Tang Yun couldn't explain. The more she explained, the more complicated it would become. She could only pretend not to hear it. At this moment, Xiao Fen on the hospital bed let out a weak groan, and all the attention in the ward was focused on Xiao Fen. Song Huping didn't care about Lin Yi and turned around hurriedly. Xiao Fen, are you awake, Mom? Where am I? Xiao Fen looked at the IV drip on her hand in confusion and looked around the room. Xiao Fen, are you awake? Don't you remember? You were going to jump off the building before, Song Huping quickly ran over and held her daughter's hand, saying, "Jump off the building? Why would I jump off the building?" Xiaofan opened her mouth, a little puzzled. "Don't you remember? It's best if you don't remember," Song Huping said. "Xiaofan, you were sleepwalking again. You dreamed of that bastard. You were going to jump off the building, jump from the 3rd floor of our house." Xiaofan was also shocked when she heard her mother's words. She was going to jump off the building? How could she have no impression at all? "Then did I jump?" "Of course I didn't jump. If this classmate hadn't caught you downstairs, Xiaofan, you would." At this point, Song Huping's voice choked again. Xiaofan seemed to know that there was something wrong with her body, and did not question her mother's words. She turned her head silently and looked at Kang Xiaobo, but when she looked at Kang Xiaobo, her eyes suddenly fixed, as if she was about to fall into hallucination again. Song Huping noticed something and was shocked. She wanted to stop it, but it was too late. She only heard Xiaofan murmured, "Xiaoming, are you here? Are you here to see me in the hospital?" End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.